Even if you try to spit it at high speed, it probably wouldn't reach.
I mean, this shows you the incompetence of Chinese leadership that still hasn't really articulated why they're doing what they're doing to their populace, other than COVID bad.
Yeah, they just like test everything. Oh, it's dumb. Anyway, we wanted to bring you up on this very special kind of Chinese art.
Yes.
So we have something in the background here. We thought this is...
Can I address something real quick?
Sure.
The rumor that Xi Jinping has been arrested, huge breaking news right now all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do way more verification before we cover that in depth. Just keep your eyes out, though. I mean, I'm not banning you guys from looking it up, but keep your eyes out. We just heard about it a few hours ago. And we can't find any verified evidence yet. But I just want you guys to know that they're here live that want us to talk about it. Let us know if you see anything pop up. Maybe something will have to do with the show. Who knows? Anyway, continue.
Yeah, just honestly, a lot of people will jump the gun with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's...
Not saying it's wrong.
It's sketchy at best right now.
Yeah, at best.
Yeah, so we'll rather wait until we can verify something before we go start, talking about it. Don't worry, there are a lot of other very important breaking things that we have to talk about in this show that are verified.
I said rumor, guys. Why are you all freaking out? I said it's a rumor. We don't know if it's happened. I have absolutely no idea. We haven't been able to verify it.
Yes, don't be a rumor monger. Don't fall for it.
I would like to bring it up, though, because it's going to be asked about 7,000 times during the show.
Can we get onto the more important stuff like art? Okay?
This is what's important.
Yes, seriously. Okay, I'd like everybody to take a look at what's going on here. Maybe you can explain to the viewers at home, that are listening, what's going on.
We have an artist here. I hope there's audio because I can't hear.
No, I don't. Maybe there is.
No, there needs to be audio for all of this stuff.
Oh, yeah, there's audio.
Okay, good. I don't need it. Okay, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Just making sure they can hear it. And he is dipping, I believe, what looks to be his ponytail into his hand and making handprints. Wild, by the way. Hold on, go back to the beginning of this.
Yeah, okay.
It's important that you see this separation of church and state.
Okay, sure.
First is the state. You got him just putting his handprints down, making crap art.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah.
And he's screaming each time. The anger is going in each handprint, right?
Right.
Dipping both hands in there, dipping the ponytail in there, get the drips all over the place. Boom, boom,
nice.
Boom. Puts it down. Then goes boom, 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 boom. My favorite part is when the religious aspect comes in here. This man is blessing the table. Woman's following, or that guy's following his hands with his phone as he films it, but he's blessing the shit artwork.
Yes, I see that.
Absolutely fantastic art. Love it. But I feel like his energy was too high.
Yes.
He's a little bit too
I gotta say, as far as art is one of those things that can just be interpreted, right? And that's one thing that I hate about art, to be honest, is the fact that you can call anything art.
Yeah.
And you basically have to convince other people that it's art.
Yes.
So you'll get someone take a dump and they'll be like, look, that's art. And it'll be like, nah, but then if some famous dude comes along, I don't know, Andy Warhol or something, and then sprinkles a bit of paint on it, he'll say that is art. And then everyone's like, I'll pay $1 million for that. You know what I mean?
Please put it in a case because it smells horrible.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. But the fact of the matter is that what he's doing here is still okay. There's a handprint there. I can discern a couple
there's something going on.
And he's doing something.
But I do feel like he's a bit aggressive, and he's got weird eye makeup on. He's got the whole vibe. He's trying to be look at me, I'm artistic and edgy.
Yeah.
The next guy tones it down quite a bit.
Now, this next guy that we're going to show you is actually very famous, and I remember articles about this guy, and he's very well known as an artist. And this is something you got to see for yourself, because if you haven't seen it, you wouldn't believe it. All right, here he is. Look at the most amazing art that's upcoming. Not this guy.
No, this guy's just finishing off his work.
Yeah.
I love all the art guys in there that are
oh, it's amazing. Oh, give it that. Oh, it's not complete without that. You got it.
For sure.
Come on,
it would have been worthless unless he did that.
Okay, this guy.
I love this.
Now, this guy, he's basically puts in the least amount of effort. He doesn't even look at what he's doing.
That's the point of him.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that thinks everything he touches turns to gold.
That's the impression I get, is that I'm so good I don't even need to look.
Yeah. He's like, everything I touch is just immediately worth
That's the impression I get.
Let's take a look at what he has to do. It's just nonsense. Okay, but you could probably go and somebody will be like, that's cool, but wait, this one though. Okay, I'm sorry if I keep stopping it, but this. Okay. You've got a foreign lady there, okay, as part of this massive art exhibition, okay?
This goes international. It's not just in his like office with his secretary.
This is his art. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
This is what he does. I feel like my like 3-year-old kid can draw better than that. Okay, what's gonna happen now?
He's getting his stamp ready.
Oh yes, look at this beautiful artwork of mine. Oh
Hold on,
yes.
Hold on, go back.
I'll go back.
I was gonna say we might be the dicks here. Like
Why?
you know the hashtag am I the dick?
Sure, why?
Because I was thinking, oh, this guy, what if he's blind or something? Then I realized, why is he wearing glasses?
Yeah, no, he's not blind, but he may as well be. Look at what he does here.
Yeah.
He's literally just making scribble circles with a paintbrush.
Yes.
He even goes off the canvas multiple times.
Yes.
He's not doing a good job. That is not art.
No. But it did remind me.
Yeah, it reminded us of. We
CCP rap.
We should all remember the CCP rap. Where well, we'll just play it out. Take a look.
Living in a jungle world, I don't need to fan. Make some foreign friends, fight them Chinese souvenirs.
Look at his painting.
Yeah, so his painting that's developing in the background is very reminiscent of that other guy. He's just random crap.
Turned into.
Yeah.
I love that it just turns into absolute blackness.
Yeah, it just turns into absolute nonsense. So yeah, I guess that this whole like move a paintbrush around until you destroy the paper underneath is kind of an art style.
It's like a theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this hat, by the way, we aren't singling China out for this. This is.
No, of course it's everywhere.
Everywhere.
The one thing that I need to single out though is that when you get like in China you get like proper legitimate calligraphy artists.
Yeah, like
okay?
beautiful. I bought a lot of stuff, good stuff from
And
there.
what they'll do is they'll study their whole lives and
Yeah.
they'll like develop their own special brush strokes and all that, and they do beautiful calligraphy. What this is trying to do is play off of that. So, you know, that's why you got foreigners and stuff. Oh, look at this calligraphy master come in. He's doing nothing but going blah.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
around with
there's
a
actual
paintbrush.
amazing calligraphists in China.
It's like
I bought
yeah,
their works, and
yeah.
they're amazing.
It's an insult to the ink,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. We'll play that one rap one more time though.
Just keep your eye on the painting.
Yeah, look at the painting in the background.
Living in a jungle world, I don't need to fan. Make some foreign friends, fight them Chinese souvenirs. Don't be still tensed up by the shame. Can you hear it? Feel it?
That's Sina, by the way. in the background. By the way, he's not going to be making foreign friends because it's against the CDC's guidelines in China right now, which we'll cover later.
Yeah, don't worry. We're going to get into this whole you're not allowed to touch foreigners thing. That's in the main segment. But remember this creepy dude that we introduced you to last weekend?
Famous actor.
Someone on our subreddit made a fantastic little skit using him. So
just to remind, if you guys didn't see last week's episode, Liu Chao, famous actor, very creepy on Chinese TikTok. His famous catchphrase is "Zhen hao," which means very good.
Yeah.
And he looks into your soul, and he looks like he's clowned on in China and Chinese like Weibo and stuff because people think he looks like he like consumes children.
Yeah,
he's
for
terrifying.
sure. He's a terrifying guy. So anyway, let's show you a little bit more of him there.
My name is Liu Chao. I hope you everything good well. Good. 真好。大家好，我是陆超。I hope you everything good well. 真好。大家好。
Hold on. This is a new one.
Oh, we got a new one for you.
That was what is that even from, by the way?
It looks like it's from one of those Soul movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really
I
good.
thought that was a great cut. I found another Liu Chao clip. This one, he actually teaches you Chinese.
He teaches you Chinese?
While using English, yeah.
Oh, let's take a look then. This should be fascinating.
陆超 good 好 very good 真好
Okay, good.
He teaches you how is good.
Yeah.
Right?
And then what do we got here?
真好.
We got a little meme of you.
I told everyone not to make fan art. There's actually one that was even more disturbing.
Right.
This one's not disturbing. It's just funny. But apparently, I'm more into geography than my wife.
You are, though, into geography big time.
Yeah.
Geography's your thing. It's like...
It is one of my things, for sure.
Everyone's got a passion. Yours is like the shape of continents, I guess.
Not so much the shape.
What position?
I do like a good Benin
I catch you.
I like a good Chad.
I catch you on those websites where they like show a screenshot and you have to guess where it's from or whatever.
Oh yeah, GeoGuessr.
Yeah.
I love it. It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Between that and aquariums. Also, but I'm more interested in not really the shape of country. Actually, I do like a good shape. I do Wordle every day. Wordle is like Wordle. We have to guess the word, but you guess the country's shape. So you caught me.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Thought as much.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, let's move on, shall we, from the little memes.
Sure.
What do we have next? Oh, yes. This is a fascinating development that we have here.
I don't
China.
even know is this in China? I don't even know. It was posted by Chinese people, so I was like, yeah.
It could be China. It could be Hong Kong. It could be Singapore. It could be anywhere really. Yeah. But this I'd like to say China has invented a cutting edge mask that allows you to play a flute by cutting a hole in the middle. It's kind of funny. To be fair, I've been seeing this all over the world. Like that, guys. You know, it's dumb. There's certain circumstances where I think you should, be able to not wear a mask.
Yeah, I didn't even think this needed commentary. It's one of those things you can look at that and you can say, yep, that's right. My Instagram post on that was right.
Yes.
That's all you need.
All right, so what's been going on over here? China lodges complaint after Biden says U.S. would defend Taiwan in a Chinese invasion.
Fourth time President Biden has said that the U.S. would defend Taiwan. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Love it. Love to hear it. One thing I do love even more is China's response in that they lodged a complaint.
Yes.
Which, what does that even mean? Who do you lodge a complaint to?
Yeah,
it's an enemy nation.
You're lodging a complaint to themselves.
Who are you whining to?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want to know. I just thought this was kind of funny. No, you can't say you'll defend Chinese Taipei because they can't say Taiwan.
Yeah.
That would cause a direct war with the U.S. And Biden says, "Listen, West Taiwan, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't care." And he's eating ice cream.
Yeah. It's
anyway.
an interesting development, though, which we'll get into a little later. It kind of ties into everything.
Yeah, we almost made that our main topic, but honestly, the whole monkeypox thing was too funny.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we'll get into
this big news.
Explain.
So U.S. bank CEOs, you can imagine U.S. banks are quite important to China's economy.
Yes.
Why? China doesn't actually have a real currency, right? Mm-hmm. China's whole kind of economy has been based off of Western, or I should just say foreign investors, right? For a long time now.
Yeah.
When China was completely closed off, Deng Xiaoping and prior, its economy it was very poor, right? It's a very poor country. And then when the economic experiment with capitalism happened, a lot of companies came in. Chinese people are very hardworking and skilled already. So it was kind of a beautiful marriage of investment and money and a skilled populace, right?
Right.
Really brought China to where it is today.
Sure.
Now, money needs to go somewhere and come from somewhere, though, right? And unfortunately, that capital is not a reliable capital that is coming from China, right?
Well, I mean, to break it down really simply, let's just say in China there's a company and it wants to buy some raw materials, or it wants to buy chips.
Yes.
If it goes and approaches another country and it wants to buy something, it doesn't use Chinese yuan as the currency. No. It uses US dollars.
That's correct.
That's usually how it works. So if they want to buy a bunch of chips from Intel, they have to pay Intel with US dollars.
That's right.
So they have to buy the US dollars from America.
Correct.
Basically. So they use the American dollar as the main sort of reserve currency there.
Yes. So it was surprising to see bank CEOs say this: "We will follow the guidance of the government," which has been working with China for decades. "If they change their position, we will change it immediately, just like we did in Russia." And then a quote from J.P. Morgan Chase.
Right.
"We would absolutely salute and follow what the U.S. government said. That's all of you. What you want us to do," he told the committee.
Okay.
So they would basically cut China off from the U.S. banking system at the drop of a hat, if that's the position that China was going to take in the event that it would invade Taiwan.
Yeah.
Which is it's different than when a president says it, or one party says it, or the federal government, or a state governor or something.
Yeah.
It's different when it's paired together with an economic response solidified by CEOs of banks. Right.
And that's the only kind of coercion that China will listen to be honest, is financial like that. So it's basically they're saying F around and find out.
You know what's funny?
What?
There was a semi-official response after that. I should say it's official. It was from the Chinese government that China is now willing
to do a peaceful reunification.
To go through peaceful reunification with Taiwan.
Yeah. I think they've realized, by the way, that for those of you who have been keeping up with the whole Taiwan situation, if you've been watching the show, you know, Nancy Pelosi landed in Taiwan, made China super angry. They started firing missiles into the sea. They started live firing it. They basically went to war with the sea life.
Yeah.
Okay.
They hated the sea life.
They hated it. They were like bombing the fish and the octopuses and all that.
Coral, get out of there.
Yeah, get out of here, Coral. You don't even belong here.
Yeah.
Squids, you name it. Like they were going after them. So they fired like live missiles all around Taiwan.
Yeah.
They sent their boats out there. They sent their planes out there all around the island doing these stupid live fire exercises, which is basically like throwing a tantrum, right?
Yes.
Now, the thing is that they thought that showing this like strength would somehow make Taiwan back down or maybe show the rest of the world that, you know, we're serious about this. But it had the opposite effect. It proved that China is a belligerent bully and really just a nuisance.
Yeah.
So now the rest of the world's like, well, you know, you kind of screwed up.
Yeah.
Okay. And you really did. And they kept doing it. Remember, they kept extending the deadlines. And in fact, they almost successfully had a blockade around Taiwan because those live fire zones that they're shooting missiles into and stuff, you can't like take a boat through there with cargo on it because it will get hit by missiles and stuff. So they had to make plans to go around. There's certain areas they couldn't fly their like commercial airliners through now because they're flying jets there shooting the sea. So it got to a point where Taiwan was like, look, this is actually ridiculous. And America's also like, this is kind of like a blockade. If you push it any further, you know, this is going to be seen as an act of war. And so China's like, you know, yeah, okay, maybe we might just try. We'll do peaceful means, you know, just kind of forget about that little tantrum we threw.
By the way, not in relation to any of the threats that were made. They didn't link those up, obviously, but that's clearly what's happened.
Absolutely. All right, so hey, the banks in America are taking it seriously, and hopefully, you know, something will be done about it.
Oh, that's massive incentive for China to not mess around.
Yeah. Let's hope that it gets to that point where, you know, they find out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what's next? I think it's almost time for us to hit our main topic, isn't it?
Yep. We got a word from our sponsor first.
Oh, we do?
Yep.
I don't see it.
Well, you should.
I see a black
open your
screen.
eyes.
I think let's do super chat and then we'll do that.
Okay.
And we'll start our next segment with the word from our sponsor. How about that? Like fresh.
A lot of you guys. David Pay says this is off topic. I am Masa Amini, so in support of the Iranian protests. Very interesting to see China's response to that.
So far.
It's evolving into, it's evolving into a position of how can we make this about the U.S. and a color revolution that America did and the CIA did instead of an actual protest.
Yeah, you know what? How about the fact that Iranian women are just tired of being treated like dirt?
Yeah.
And being beaten to death for not wearing a hijab.
Think about it.
Off your hijab.
Off your hijab. Number two.
Yeah.
In China, a protest like this could never happen.
No.
So it's, of course, foreign forces that are doing this. Yeah. Iran's an authoritarian government just like us, says China.
Yeah.
This could never happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Good luck to the protesters anyway.
Yes, absolutely. Roman Reyes says, the title, Don't Touch Foreigners, reminds me of elementary school bullies accusing someone that they're holding hands to be spreading cooties. Yes,
right.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. Should we just hit our next segment?
I can do the pre-show ones.
Okay.
V. Diddy, I'm still perplexed by Foreig students, that's the rich second generation
rich,
who leave China and enjoy freedoms abroad. They seem much more patriotic and defensive than middle class or working class Chinese. What type of mental gymnastics are they convinced of?
It's very simple. The reason they have money is because of party connections.
Yes.
You do not...
Almost always.
Not almost always.
Yeah,
there's
99.99.
Yeah, there's no way that you can afford a Ferrari at the age of 21 unless daddy owns a factory or has some kind of massive a corrupt sort of relationship with the Chinese government. So, of course, all your wealth and all your power and all your reputation and everything comes from the Chinese Communist Party and taking advantage of that situation. The fact that you voted with your feet and left China to go somewhere else to buy Ferraris and screw around and throw money around kind of shows that you actually don't want to be in China. But you owe everything you have to the Communist Party of China. Of course you're going to be nationalist because that's who your daddy is.
Correct.
Right?
That's
Whereas
correct.
middle class people, they have to work.
Right.
And the ones that do make it overseas have worked really hard to get there. Okay? So they're less inclined to be very patriotic because they didn't just get the money given to them through CCP corruption.
That is correct.
Anyway.
Dylan Vienna says, I see the shills are trying to credit the Iran riots as a so-called color revolution.
Yep.
So I assume that's China's view. Color revolution equals dog whistle.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If you see the word color revolution, that's such a dog whistle for tankies.
Yeah, they are all about color revolutions. That's what they called the Hong Kong protests. That's what they've called everything that they just don't agree with is a color revolution.
Yes.
I'm about to have a color revolution right now. Unless we move on to our next subject.
I just want to finish the nice people that sent chats before.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to skip them.
The Callan method comes from England.
Yes, it does.
By the way, Koala says, just give you $5 donations from the money I stole from the port of Dandong.
Oh,
That's
nice.
a stretch.
I'll throw that in there.
Port of Dandong.
Angry Dragon says, this guys has been a while. I've also been accused of being CIA lol. The women are starting to get more subtle with the propaganda. Will Smith says, getting jiggy with the like button. Yeah, everyone like that video. Smash it, caress it, lick it.
Now I'm really going to have
Touch
a
it.
color revolution.
Don't. What do you mean? Give me color to CC?
Yeah, that's
That
what
means
it-
punch someone
Yeah.
in Chinese. Anyway, yeah.
Let's hit it. We're going to hit Soft Power Hour. This is where we talk about how China is using all sorts of funny ways to change your mind and hoodwink you and so on through media and through all that kind of stuff. Who's this guy? He's certainly not grounded and he's not news.
Dude, we're going to have to say World Economic Forum.
Oh, yes, I know.
Oh, boy.
WEF, Great Reset, better
Here we
watch
go.
out.
Let's do it.
Mhm.
All right, well, actually, this dude is just kind of the comedian of the episode.
Okay.
Now, we're going to do multiple parts of Soft Power Hour, by the way.
Yeah.
And I wanted to throw this in here because this is something you got to be sitting for.
Okay.
You got to just imagine what might
you know
come
what you
out
got to
of this
do?
guy's-
You gotta understand, China.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to just kind of like prep yourself for mental gymnastics and get ready to laugh. You
Okay.
Ready for this?
Sure.
This is China's stance. This is Xie Zhenhua.
Okay, so this guy over here is called Xie Zhenhua, right?
Yes, his stance on what's happening in the world via climate change and carbon output.
Okay.
This is what he said. Europe, so the European Union, and other developed countries must take positive action to implement climate change goals as geopolitical uncertainties threaten to undermine their efforts, China's top climate envoy told his German counterpart, Xie Zhenhua, who leads China's climate negotiation. He told Germany's special climate envoy Jennifer Morgan via video link late Wednesday that global climate governance was currently facing multiple challenges and uncertainties. And this is what he says again. The climate policies of some European countries have shown a backswing, and it's hoped that this is just a temporary stopgap, he said, according to the summary of a meeting released by China's Environment Ministry. As Western countries raise coal consumption in order to offset gas supply disruptions brought about by conflict in Ukraine, China's foreign minister said in a statement that this month that its own green and low carbon development path remained firm, in contrast with the European Union.
Wow, that's some.
I mean,
Guys,
what?
here's the thing. You've heard a lot about, and China keeps going on about like they've got all these green energy initiatives, right? And they have thrown a lot of money at like solar farms and whatever else. But it doesn't matter because at the exact same time, they keep increasing their coal-fired power plants. They keep increasing their damage to the environment, their CO2 emissions. We'll show you some graphs here, okay? It's just ridiculous, you know what I mean? It's like somebody who's throwing like all this trash in the river and then one day goes out and collects like 5 bottles out of the river and says, look at what I'm doing for the environment, and you're not doing anything, you know, but meanwhile they're throwing all this junk in there. Okay, so again, this is per capita net greenhouse gas emissions. China overtook pretty much the developed world in 2019.
Yeah, the OECD members. So you got like Mexico, Chile, Ireland, Luxembourg, Belgium, Iceland, Finland, Sweden, Australia, France, Japan. Big countries, right?
Yeah.
And this is when, in 2019, is when they overtook this huge conglomeration of countries. But in, I think it was 2020, is when they kind of overtook everyone combined.
Yes.
Like all of the main countries combined. If you threw them all in a bag, China eclipsed them.
I mean, I actually put something on my Twitter, which let me just find it here quickly. Okay, here it is. There's this big argument, and I just wanted to nip this in the bud. People say per capita, right? We all understand what per capita means, per person. So, yes, China pollutes more than all other countries combined, but because they got such a large population, people like divide it up and they say, well, per capita it's less than the USA. In other words, okay, think about it this way. If you've got 10 people that are polluting 100 tons into the atmosphere, and you've got 100 people putting 100 tons into the atmosphere, you would say that the 100 people are polluting less, even though it's the same amount of pollution. You get what I'm saying here?
Yes.
But it's actually a bunch of BS because, let's see. The world's top 5 polluters were responsible for 60% of the global emissions in 2019. China alone generated about the same amount of CO2 as the next 4 countries combined, and its carbon output is still rising every year. China's emissions were so vast that its biggest companies, few of which are household names, create more pollution than entire nations. China Baowu, the world's top steelmaker, put out more CO2 into the atmosphere last year than Pakistan. Okay? That's one. So you see,
one company.
It's not the people of China. You can't say per capita because if you've, like us, traveled around China, you go to the rural areas where you've got a huge part, like 50% of the population are living very simple lives and cannot put any emissions out unless they're farting a lot.
Right.
Because they're literally living in like a mud house or a very simple house. They're doing some farming.
Not consuming much.
They don't have cars.
Yeah.
You know, they're not creating pollution. All right, they're not. This per capita thing is rubbish because a huge percentage of the population just aren't emitting anything.
Right.
It's a very small percentage of China's population. It's actually these big companies, these state-owned companies, and these factories and this outsourced stuff. Those are the ones.
Yes.
So when you actually see that China is creating more pollution than the entire world combined, it's not the whole of China. It's a very small part. It's these very bad state-run steel companies and things like that. It's the factories that have been outsourced, you know, because like in America, you're not making anything here anymore. So you outsource it to an irresponsible factory.
Yeah.
That's the problem is you can blame America for outsourcing it to China, but it's actually the irresponsible companies that don't follow any kind of guidelines.
No.
So they won't have proper CO2 scrubbers or whatever. They'll just throw pollutants into the rivers and stuff. They do whatever they want.
Dirty
just to
coal.
Yeah, and they do this like shortcut shit just so that they can get the job done.
Correct.
Quickly and cheaply, and it's at the detriment to the environment because they're irresponsible. If you were to outsource that factory to a responsible country, it would be way less.
Not only that, they would even if they didn't have the means to make it clean or to reduce the carbon.
Yeah.
Those countries would most likely allow the foreign countries to come in and audit and check those things.
Yes.
Right. Whereas China oftentimes doesn't allow that at all. There's no oversight.
Yeah, here's another one. Take state-owned oil giant Sinopec Group, one of its subsidiaries, China Petroleum and Chemical. So just one of its subsidiaries, okay? China Petroleum and Chemical contributed more to global warming last year than Canada.
Yeah.
Just one subsidiary of Sinopec Group.
Yes.
More
One
than
subsidiary of Sinopec.
Yes.
Not Sinopec.
More than Canada. So, you know, like when China comes out and like, oh, Canada and all these developed countries.
Oh, they sing the national anthem? Oh, Canada?
Yeah, oh, Canada. Thank you for giving us all this real estate that we can, like, you know, funnel all our money laundering through. We love you so much and, you know, hope you guys suffer and can never afford a house. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, you know, other than the fact that, you know, Canada could set a swarm of auroras, you know, in there to, like, take care of it. But anyway.
They'll surveil everything.
They will. One subsidiary was more than Canada. All right. And so this article goes on and on. If you want to read this article, it's on my Twitter. But the fact of the matter is that when people come in with their like, but my per capita, you know, argument, it's bullshit. It's a few Chinese factories and Chinese state-owned companies that are polluting more than like the entire world, entire nations.
Yes.
So, you know, the fact that you've got that one company, that one steel company is polluting more than Pakistan.
Yeah.
Okay? One company.
One.
It's not all those farmers in the countryside. So you can't say per capita. You should say per company or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Company, yeah.
But it's China's irresponsible management of these very bad polluters, these very bad actors that causes this problem. And that's why China pollutes more than the rest of the world. So for them to combined. It's for them to come and try and say to the EU, hey, you better watch out and better do something about that is bullshit.
No. I mean, it's just obscene.
It's just, you know, it's bullshit. I just have to say it. Excuse my French, even though that's not French. What is French for cow?
Oh, cow? Why would it be cow?
Or bull, you know?
Oh, I thought you'd want to say shit.
No, that's mierda or something like that.
No,
So what?
Merde or some shit like that.
Just like, if I'm gonna say excuse my French, I want to say it properly.
Excuse your French bullshit would be connerie.
Okay, excuse my connerie. I don't know how to say French. Excuse me.
Connerie.
Especially since there's tons of Canadians watching. I don't want to offend them. Let's move on.
All Canadians can take it.
Yeah, I know they can. The Aurora will come to save them. Okay, so let's move on to the actual main topic, which is don't touch foreigners.
Yes. Don't do it.
Here's the thing, guys. Xenophobia in China it's always been there, okay? And it's been there, and it's a tool that the government turns on and off.
Correct.
You know, ever since what they call the century of humiliation, they've now sometimes called it the 200 years of humiliation, whatever.
Up in the ante, eh?
Dates back to the Opium Wars and all that kind of stuff, right? They always use this whole idea that foreigners are the ones that came in and like bullied us and caused us all the problems that we have, right? And they use that as a tool. So whenever the Chinese government fails, all they need to do is say, oh, it's foreigners' fault. And it's always been foreigners' faults, you know? That's why they're always pointing the blame at the outside world for everything. So monkeypox, right?
Yeah.
Now monkeypox, as we know, is a terrible disease that spreads around specifically through unprotected sex, and it seems to be in the gay community. It's spreading a lot. It is spreading everywhere, you know? Something to be watching out for. And of course, China, with its zero COVID policy, has been so paranoid about any kind of disease that spreads these days. They've been very happy to report that they don't have any monkeypox outbreaks. And so
it's very important that China has an official declaration that they avoid all these things that plague other countries.
Yes.
Basically.
Now, here's the thing, though. It's not like monkeypox is actually really plaguing other countries. It's not the same as COVID-19. It's awful. It's terrible. But, you know, it's not as big as it's being made out in the news. All right? You do.
Yeah, it's kind of calmed down.
Yeah, it's not like it's affecting every person.
No.
But, you know, if you were to read the news, let's be fair, you would think that the whole of New York has monkeypox.
Sure.
You know, and I guess that's what they're projecting in China as well through the news is look at all the cases in New York. Look at America's fallen to monkeypox, right?
I think that media coverage is definitely slowed down is my point. That's like old. Like, it's not like that anymore.
No,
Turn on
I
the news,
get
you
it.
don't hear about monkeypox anymore.
No, you don't. But the thing is, you do in China because remember, they like to build this fear of the outside world. They like to basically try and prevent anyone from having the idea that moving overseas is a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, and they also want to try and bring as many overseas Chinese people that might have naturalized. Overseas to come back to China.
That's a big push right now.
Yeah, so they're saying things like, "Oh, don't stay in America. It's got monkeypox and other weird things. Come back to our safe China where we've got zero COVID. There's nothing to worry about here. You know, you're free from disease type thing. You know, that's kind of the vibe that's going on. So anyway, it turns out, at least from the insiders that told me, who were on the same plane, by the way, as the guy who came back, who had monkeypox.
Oh, is that the deal?
Yeah. Somebody who was on the same plane reached out to me. Doesn't want to be identified.
Oh, interesting.
It was a Chinese national that brought it back in.
I knew that part.
Yeah, but right in the beginning, they didn't.
Sure.
They didn't want anyone to know that.
Oh, okay.
So, like right in the beginning, he reached out to me, said, "Yeah, it was a Chinese national that came back. He was on the same plane." So, a Chinese national who was overseas doing some stuff, playing around a little bit, you know, who knows, picked up monkeypox, ended back up in China as the first, you know, example of monkeypox in the country. Okay. What happens? You got this guy. What's his name again?
This guy? I have it written down. Wu Zhunyou.
Yeah, Wu Zhunyou came out and basically told everyone that.
His name's
I can see it. Look, we're in front of it.
In front of it.
Yeah. So anyway, he came out and his solution was,
Yes.
if in order to avoid getting monkeypox, is don't touch foreigners. Okay?
Yeah.
There was a Chinese national that brought it in.
Yeah.
It shows you how the xenophobia works, right?
Also, that's not how you get it. Just
Yeah.
you don't go like this and you get monkeypox.
I don't know. I still wouldn't want to touch someone with monkeypox. It looks kind of gross.
Obviously.
Someone looks like looks like he's got smallpox or something.
Sure. It's related, isn't it?
You're not like,
That's
oh, could I touch that?
Well, wait. Well, because the other day when I saw a case, I said, "Do you mind if I squeeze that a little bit?"
Yeah,
I just want to see what it feels like.
What does it taste like?
Can you open the sore?
Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna want to. I'm just saying, right?
Yes.
Enough.
Yes. Anyway.
Yeah, awful disease. Anyone who's suffering from it, I hope you recover
horrible,
very quickly.
yeah.
It's disgusting.
Thankfully, it doesn't have the same, like mortality rate that COVID did initially.
Yeah.
Anyway, can we get into the meat of this?
Sure.
So, monkeypox is obviously the scourge of the immoral West, according to the Chinese government, right?
Yes.
And we, as good Chinese people, upstanding people that have great disease prevention, the head of the CDC epidemiologist dude is obviously going to say that we know how to take care of it, and the problem is from the outside. It's the state narrative, so don't touch anyone from the outside. Let's look at the statement.
Okay. By the way, don't ever touch someone and lick your finger because it might just be.
好吃，好好吃。
That's actually what the state doesn't want you to know, is it could be how
So-
how
What is this? What is this statement exactly that he put out?
Scroll
No.
past is out of order. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We'll come back to that. It's very important.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay, we'll get us out of that.
This is. I'll read
So,
the
just in
translation.
case anyone thinks we're twisting the words of the,
Yes.
this is, by the way, the official CDC. What is it? What is his title? He's the
He's
chief
chief
epidemiologist. So it's a chief epidemiologist or epidemiologist of the Chinese Center for Disease Control.
So you can imagine he had something.
It's like
to do-
Fauci or something,
Yes, exactly. You can imagine he has quite the role to fill when it came to COVID. So we'll come back to
Yeah,
that.
we'll come back to that.
Says Wu Zunyo on how to prevent monkeypox infection. September 16th, Chongqing City confirmed a case of imported monkeypox cases. Man,
Yeah.
Chongqing just
Yeah.
not a great place.
No, Chongqing. No, let's see what's going
That's
on.
a bit of a dog whistle when you hear that city.
Yeah.
Wu Zunyo, the chief expert of Chinese epidemic disease control and prevention, explained monkeypox on Weibo on Wednesday. Now, Weibo is Twitter of China. He suggested, one, do not have direct skin contact with foreigners.
Now, before anyone says anything weird here, okay? The first thing that he says, his first point, okay, his number one. So this is the most important one. Why would you make this first, right? The first
It's
one
state
means it's the
narrative.
most. No, I'm just saying the first point.
Yeah.
If you're going to give layout suggestions,
Because that's the only thing
is
they
the
care
most
about.
important
They
one.
don't care about monkeypox.
No,
they
no.
care about ostracizing the
Yeah,
outside
but what I'm
world.
saying is if you're going to make a
Yes.
list of things to do,
Yes.
the first one on the list is the most important. And he said, do not touch foreigners. Okay, do not have direct skin contact with foreigners. In other words, touch them.
All right.
For those of you who might think, oh, he just meant people that are, coming from outside of China. No, it says Wai Guo Rin.
Yes.
Okay? And if you know Chinese, Wai Guo Rin means somebody who's not Chinese.
Yes.
In fact, they still call us Wai Guo Rin here. Okay, and it pisses me off to no end because if you go to a supermarket in, like an Asian supermarket in the USA, and you overhear people talking about the locals, they will say Wai Guo Rin.
Yeah.
So,
Some of them.
yeah, I've heard it a lot.
Yes.
So I don't like being called a foreigner. I mean, I technically am a foreigner.
I'm not.
Yeah, I am a foreigner in America, so
Yeah.
I guess it's okay. But for you, it's,
Yeah, for me,
they're
it's
calling
like,
us foreigners. It's like, get out of here, man.
no.
Come on. Who's, don't do that.
I don't call them a foreigner.
No.
Anyway.
The fact of the matter is, Wai Guo Rin means not Chinese. So they have other words for Chinese people that are overseas, like Hua Ren, Hua Qiao,
Yeah.
okay? They've got other words for that. So even if it's a Chinese person who has immigrated and actually naturalized and become American, they will not be called a Wai Guo Ren. They will still be called a Hua Qiao or a Hua Ren or something
Yeah.
along those lines. So Wai Guo Ren means somebody who is of a different race, someone who looks different to a Chinese person. Okay, so it's not. Just don't get it confused. It's not like they're saying, "Oh, anyone from the outside of the country." right? They mean not Chinese.
That's correct.
So that's number one. Do not make skin contact. And I got to say that this is one of the most xenophobic, racist-ass things to say. You know, I'm from South Africa, and during the apartheid years, there was no one saying that you cannot shake hands with someone from another race.
Right.
All right? It's worse than the apartheid government here when it comes to, like, this is an official statement. Do not touch foreigners.
Right.
Do not touch people of another race is what's being said here.
Right.
It's disgusting. You know? CDC, head of the CDC. It's like if Fauci came out and said, don't touch Mexicans or something.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's awful. It's racist. It's xenophobic. It's garbage.
Yeah.
You know?
It says, do not have skin contact with people who have recently returned from abroad within 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Do not have skin-to-skin contact with strangers. Pay attention to hand hygiene.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
I mean, everyone starts out as a stranger, right?
Yeah.
So that just means you can't ever have a relationship. You can't
Here's the
shake
deal.
someone's hand.
You know what you can do?
What?
You can have full contact with someone with monkeypox, as long as they're not a stranger.
Yeah, there we go.
As long as you know them.
Yeah, you
that's
know
fine.
them. I mean, like you're striking out a business deal, right? And there's a guy, and you're not allowed to shake his hand. Oh,
No.
you know, my CDC said I can't.
Buy me a drink first.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they
Let's
have a drink. And
yeah.
he's
Tell
like,
me,
"All
what are
right."
your hobbies?
And then the
yeah.
tongues come out.
But I mean, seriously. Yeah, let's get to know each other a little. Sit down, have a drink.
You mind if I lick those sores?
Gross. And you're like, okay, cool. Like now I know what you enjoy. No, we're not strangers anymore. I'll shake your hand.
All right. Yeah, that's how it works.
Nonsense, yeah.
Anyway, it says, pay attention to hand hygiene. Use of public toilets, including toilets in hotels for business travel. If a toilet is used, use disposable toilet paper as much as possible. Now, before you laugh at disposable toilet paper, it just means toilet paper. It's just the direct translation. It would be funny, though, if you didn't speak Chinese and you read that as disposable toilet paper, because you'd think, well, what's the non-disposable toilet paper kind? Do I carry a freaking cloth around?
I think is he not talking about those toilet
Yes.
seats?
No.
Okay. It was a show.
If conditions do not
show.
permit, you can use alcohol wet paper towels or paper towels dipped in hot water. Gotta bring the hot water
Yep.
to wipe before using. Hot water is the cure-all
Yes.
in China.
So that's a direct translation.
Yes.
All right. As to what he said, it's even from the Global Times, which is the Chinese state, official media. So it's not something we made up. Okay, that's
Right.
what it is. So remember, number one, no skin-to-skin contact with foreigners.
Yes.
All right. That's China's advice to avoid monkeypox.
Correct.
You know, it's actually horrible because this whole blaming foreigners for everything and foreigners are like a virus and a disease has led to some of my friends in China being called a virus. Okay? Seriously, people avoiding them. Oh,
Yep.
it's a foreigner. They must have COVID.
Yep.
You are a virus. Get out of China. That kind of thing.
Yep.
I've had that, like some friends of mine have had that shouted at them in China on the
Yes.
streets. Okay? It's led, if your government is force feeding you this crap all the time, you're going to internalize it, right?
Of
And you're going to
course.
think it's okay to behave that way because that's what CDC man said, right?
CDC man. It's
CDC.
like the worst
You know, I
superhero
actually
ever.
have a little excerpt from the end of his speech, by the way, that I wanted to share with everyone here.
Sure.
Okay? So, right at the end of the speech, he said this.
You got the touch! Yeah!
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what he said.
That's incredibly. So he has the touch, or who has the touch?
Foreigners have the touch.
Oh, foreigners have the touch.
You got the touch.
You ever see Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
Yeah, I did.
You know about what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know they do that thing where that gross piece of cheese is on the floor of
Oh,
the playground.
right,
and
right,
You get
yeah.
the cheese touch, and
Right.
then you have to pass it on to someone else. It's kind of like that.
It's that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically just stupid schoolyard crap. Anyway,
He does have a beautiful voice, though. It's almost like he was in a band like a glam rock band from the '80s or something.
Yeah,
You know,
it's-
like a hair metal type band.
yeah, definitely was.
Epic voice.
Yeah, it certainly does. By the way, before we even continue with this, guys, we've got some new little sound bites that we just had to show you. So I just wanted to
Just do it.
do it, right?
Yes.
We have a fantastic clip. Now, we've shown it before, long time ago, but we have a fantastic clip that we're going to show you in Yamcha today, okay?
Yeah.
Which is just absolutely...
Well, most of you have probably seen it.
But
to
in
be
case
fair,
you
but
haven't.
it's a great refresher.
yeah, exactly.
No, we've never shown the whole version.
No, we
This
haven't.
the
This is,
uncut
yeah,
version.
we've got an uncut version.
See? Are you convinced?
Yeah, are you convinced?
I am. I can't
That's
wait.
good. All right, but you know what?
You got the touch! Yeah!
Sorry, I don't want to show that again. I'll figure it out by the end.
Sorry, he's got the touch. We're still talking about this. So.
Yes, we are. Anyway, we have to go back, don't we? We have to go back to the beginning.
Back to the beginning. So,
okay.
If you guys remember, do you remember when the coronavirus started in Wuhan, right? Mm-hmm. Near the Huanan seafood market?
Yes.
I found an old interview.
And this is kind of important, actually.
Yeah, I found an old interview with Wu Zhunyou and also.
Wait! Don't just. Okay. It's a surprise. It's a surprise. So
he's gonna show up first. So.
Okay, then we'll know. But let's go back and let's take a look. Yes.
A World Health Organization team is in Wuhan to explore the origin of the virus.
There's been a lot of blame being put around about this pandemic. It originated somewhere.
Oh, who's that? Oh, it's our good old friend Peter.
Find him again.
Yeah, good old Ballsack is back. Well, back from the past. He's come back to the future.
Anyway, this is in the same interview with Wu Zhunyou, which is the epidemiologist.
So this is the same guy who said don't touch foreigners.
The first cluster of cases traced to a market.
Why has the data not been shared?
No, they didn't isolate the virus.
There he is.
That's the issue.
What about live animal samples?
It doesn't tell you anything if they only test positive. I do not suspect it's coming from what we originally thought.
There he is.
So
he's been running defense since day one for the Chinese government. He's basically, imagine, a actual peon of state narrative for Xi Jinping. Mm-hmm. And they released him out in the wild to go do interviews with foreign journalists to say that it didn't come from Wuhan, it didn't come from China. And then he's running defense now by saying, don't get monkeypox by not touching foreigners.
That's right.
So I wanted to read you something real quick.
Go ahead.
So there's some Chinese netizens, right, that have been translated here. Chinese netizen posted a question that was upvoted quite a bit, right?
Okay.
And they said, they basically said, what about foreigners that have been living in China for a long time?
Yes.
Right? Like, why would they have monkeypox? It doesn't make any sense. They've been isolated in China, right? He refused to answer that. And then when journalists picked up on that comment, they reached out and he refused to respond to that as well.
See, that's a problem. The people I was telling you about earlier that have been called a virus, and people have been like avoiding them. In other words, like walking to the other side of the road, or just treating them very badly and poorly, and calling the security on them just because they're a foreigner sitting there.
Yeah.
These are the people that never left China.
Yeah.
Okay, these are the people that sat through those lockdowns. Like one of them is a guy who sat for 2 months in his apartment in Shanghai during this stupid lockdown. He's still being called a virus.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He did everything everyone else did, the daily nucleic acid tests. Yep. The inside of his nose is raw from that crap, He's been doing everything, but yet he's a virus because he's a foreigner. It's because this kind of crap.
It's on purpose. It's not a mistake. It's not like, we'll use kind of inflammatory language by accident. It's to ostracize the foreign countries that aren't China from China. The ultimate goal, no matter what you hear, and I say this over and over again, but I think it's really important, the ultimate goal of the Chinese government before they close off completely North Korea style is to make sure that the people hate the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Despite what the Chinese government says on a global stage, it says we want to be a part of the international community. Yeah. We want to be friends. We want to be partners. We want to participate in all of these global alliances and partnerships. What they actually mean is we want all the benefits from those things. Mm-hmm. We want to dictate what people can and can't do, and we want our own people to hate you.
And we want to take advantage of every loophole and every little thing that we can.
But at the end of the day, we want our own people in China to hate you and distrust you. That's
right.
actually what this means, and that's what this is about.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind when you're trying to treat the Chinese government as an equal. You can't, because they think that you're subhuman.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's state policy.
This is connected as well, and this is kind of interesting. Something that's worth thinking about and talking about over here is this.
This is interesting. This is from that Breaking Points show. With those two, there's a woman and a man. They do this kind of center news. It's like what is it called?
Non-partisan?
No. Non-establishment.
Okay.
Anyway.
So what does that mean? It's like alternative.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Brain Force.
No.
Okay.
I looked him up. Actually, looks pretty decent.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, it was very interesting because I chased this up too.
Sure.
After he put this out on Instagram.
Is it? So you did some fact checking?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
you
I
want to
care
just
about.
read this. I honestly, I don't even want to explain it. I want you to read it, and I want people to think about it.
Okay. Evergrande, we all know Evergrande, right?
Yes.
Evergrande's that massive real estate company which recently has just kind of fallen into a lot of problems. But anyway, Evergrande, a company with close ties to the Chinese Communist Party, donated $115 million to Harvard Medical School. Days after the donation, Harvard-linked experts, some who had proposed a lab leak origin, suddenly changed their position, condemning the lab leak idea. That's interesting.
You've been recently hearing that the lab leak theory is being not as favored by the scientific community right now, and it's based on one or two things.
Yeah.
You now know, based on this, where that came from.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very interesting, and I'm glad some people are pointing it out that are not just us.
Yeah, you know, as somebody who's not a scientist, but somebody who's interested in science myself, to me, the idea of a lab leak is a very credible one, and one that needs to be thoroughly investigated.
Yeah.
In fact, it would be my first go-to. All right?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that there's been so much pushback against this lab leak theory, which is a common sense theory that even someone who just doesn't know anything about science and just knows about, like, hey, if you go to a nuclear waste dump site, you might get sick, you know, something like that, would understand that the possibility of a lab leak is very high, and it must be exhaustively investigated first. It's the first thing you should look at.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's been so much pushback against it, people have been called conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
People have been labeled as nutty if they try to even go down this path.
Yes.
Scientists who should have common sense and say, yeah, let's check it out, are turning their backs on this idea, shows you that there's a huge motivation for someone or some entity not to pursue this theory. And this is, again, proof.
By the way, I wanted to shout out Peter Santinello, my friend that actually sent me this, put me onto this. Great YouTuber, great YouTube channel.
It's excellent. So, guys, you know, seriously, though, what a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
China is using money to just basically buy people's opinions, you know, change narratives.
It's still happening.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty awful.
Yeah.
Cool. By the way, look into that, guys. Go take a look for yourself, verify it, and make sure. But yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a little Shaban Ho plug.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do a Shaban Ho plug. Everybody, if you don't know,
Yeah, we have a show on Monday.
we have a show. It's a patron exclusive show, but we'll just show you, and you can decide whether or not you want to come and join. Let's take a look. We'll get there someday. Whenever this. Whoa, there's a church here in China.
It's called Chinese religion, and man, China throws the book at these people.
Yeah, I have a spiritual snack, thank you.
Little like pictures of Jesus and Mary and stuff.
Wafer and wine. I stopped drinking it, and those things went away.
Yeah. See, now you're going to hell.
F that. Wine and snacks available 24/7.
People will get murdered.
I'm hankering for a bit of the body of
I mean,
Christ.
it's one of the worst Catholic churches I've seen.
Go into a
It's like
flower
grass.
pot and like eat the dirt.
The CCP runs the church.
F all
In
of
front
that.
you. More chemicals than water.
That thing's got more chemicals than the Rolling Stones.
I mean, it's
you
a
know?
CCP church.
Basically, you pray to the Communist
Yeah.
Party of China.
Actually ate pig intestines.
Some people are judgmental, you know. So, I mean, if you're a religious person, China's not the place for you. Yeah, guys, so for those of you who are unaware, that is our show, and it's a lot of fun. It's kind of an off-the-books thing. We spoke about these churches that we'd found in China, showed some footage, and the fact that they've all been knocked down and basically how it all
Abandoned
works.
and stuff. Talked about religion in general, how it's managed.
Yeah, in China.
How it's changed. John Blair says, Shaban Ho is fun as hell. I'd recommend it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we love it. It's a fantastic thing, and you guys definitely should join if you have the means. Go to?
Oh, yeah. Did you pay him for that testimonial?
No.
I thought
it wasn't. No.
Of course not, yeah. Don't you just hate paid testimonials?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
That
worry.
was a free testimonial.
Yeah, thank you. Your check's in the mail. Just kidding.
No.
Just kidding. Yeah, go to patreon.com/ADV podcasts. If you want to join the Shaban Ho tier, you can watch us live every Monday for Shaban Ho. And of course, you'll have access to all the previous episodes. They're a lot of fun. It's a lot more off the cuff. we usually dig through some of our old photos and footage and show you something that you'll never see on any of our channels or here. It's kind of fun. It's like a little VIP club.
It's fantastic. It's like I can't recommend it enough if you have the opportunity. Everyone that comes in there has such a good time, and we have a great time. The more people we add to the show and the more kind of feedback and interaction we have, the more fun it is.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Should we move into our next segment?
Yeah.
Okay, Wu Mao Corner. You know that's where we talk about the haters and what they're up to and all the nonsense. And this is kind of Wu Mao, is it?
I mean, listen.
Would you say it's Wu Mao? It's kind
Wu Mao
of.
Corner. You ask me this every time, and it's almost like you don't listen to my response.
Right, because I'm waiting for one that I like. What is it?
Wu Mao reading like bullshit comments about like, oh, you are bad because CCP is good comments isn't actually interesting, right?
No, of course
it's
not.
morphed into something else. And Wu Mao, I like to explain, is when the government tells the people to do something,
yes,
this is what's happening.
Well, that's
the outcomes.
The whole point of this whole segment is that the way the Wu Mao react and the different narratives that they choose to take, it shows you what the Chinese government is trying to do.
Yes.
It's the funnest thing to watch, actually. You see how it evolves. And, recently they'll do things like, oh, I absolutely agree with everything you say in this video. However,
it's like an evolution.
Then they'll be like, however, this might not be correct. And then they try to like disassemble your argument to basically say you don't know anything and that you suck.
The new thing, it's very clear, is not them even talking about China necessarily. It's them saying, oh yeah, but Democrats are bad. Oh yeah, but Republicans are bad. And what they're doing is sowing hatred. Division. And then after that, they'll insert some comments. Oh yeah, at least China's not doing that, and they're like, oh, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, I've got
it's like fake dialogue.
Recently, I'd had a bit of a hinkling about that. Anyway, let's let's take a look, guys.
Something about a light switch.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, what do we got going on here? This is a study, and you love studies, so maybe you can tell us about this. Yeah, I know you are.
I'm a studious gentleman.
Right. Well, you like reading other people's studies. What is this?
This is a study that they did, and I thought it was absolutely fascinating how they did it.
Okay.
What they did was they would go to different countries, and they'd leave wallets around, right?
Yeah.
There would be empty ones, control wallets, right? And then they'd have wallets with $13 in them. Now this was adjusted based on the country they're in, so it was $13 in the U.S., right? But that would mean something else in a different country, right? They would adjust it for the person's
like a million Zimbabwean pesos. Or whatever.
Yeah, but not even that. That might only be $1, right? But it's whatever that equivalent would be your purchasing power. That
that's what I mean.
Purchasing power. And I thought this is interesting because they wanted to find out what percentage of people would report the lost wallet, right?
Okay.
So on the left here with the orange dot, this is if the wallet had no money in it. And the red dot is if it had the $13 equivalent in it, right?
Yeah.
So you have high trust societies at the top. You had Switzerland, where you had
over
80% of people in Switzerland.
By the way, the way they did this, correct me if I'm wrong, but they only recorded the wallets that were actually, returned?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so, for example, if somebody looked at a wallet and walked by, that didn't count in the study.
Right.
It was the people that interacted with the wallet.
So if somebody picked up a wallet
and kept it.
Yeah, so because they're watching these wallets and they put the same amount of wallets in every country.
Yes.
It's not like it was, and so what they do is they'd watch. So if people walk past, doesn't matter. But if someone picked up the wallet, then they'd see if it was returned or not later or reported later.
Yes.
Okay. So Switzerland, of course, looks like 80%
if it had money. And the curious thing about this was interesting. If the wallet had money on it, in every country, it was more likely to be reported.
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting.
That's crazy. I mean, it looks like Denmark did the best on this test.
For the wallet with the money.
Yeah. With the wallet without money, they're like, sweet, free wallet.
I mean, to be fair, it's still overwhelmingly reported.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, you get lower. I thought the UK and the United States were interesting because it was vastly more reported if it had money in it.
Yes, yeah.
Which was crazy.
I mean, it looks like in America it's like 60% thereabouts, like 58%, 60%, and UK is actually 65%. It looks like.
If it had money.
Yeah.
Slightly lower without it. Anyway, I like to use those two countries as kind of the control, the average.
Sure.
Right? You go down the list.
South Africa sucks, but I thought it would be like in the negative. I thought you'd get like negative 100% or something of reported.
It's a fairly honest society.
Well, no bullshit. I mean, just saying.
Okay.
But
well, this is not a flawed study.
No, I'm just saying it's like surprised me. Maybe everyone was in a good mood that day. Maybe they just won the World Cup.
That's how these studies work, is anecdotal days.
Yeah,
right?
it is. It's anecdotal, like just won the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. They picked that day.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying
Mexico.
it's a good surprise. It's a good surprise. South Africa, actually 40% of wallets that were found were reported.
Yeah.
They probably dropped them all on the waterfront in Cape Town.
Here we go again.
Anyway,
I'm just to find it. So what you're saying is that the study is negated and we can't pay attention.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Sure.
Of course, it's a correct study.
Right.
I just doubt they dropped them in, I don't know, a township or something.
Where people need money. Poor area.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like in America if they dropped, but they would have been controlled. They probably dropped some in the poor area, some in the rich areas.
It was
right?
very well controlled.
Then it's fair.
Anyway, Mexico is the only country where, or Mexico and Peru were the only countries where if the wallet had money, it was more likely to be kept than if it didn't have money. I thought that was weird. But the most interesting part of this is that China is dead last, with less than 10% of people reporting the wallet if it didn't have money.
That looks more like about 6 to 7%.
Maybe 6 or 7%. And then about 21% reporting if it did have money.
Yeah.
Which was not shocking at all for someone that lived in China. I've had my wallet stolen multiple times there. And there's a bystander syndrome in China where if you see something, it's not your problem. You ignore it. I imagine a lot of these wallets were completely ignored.
Yeah, they normally are.
But again, these are only the ones that were interacted with, right?
Yeah.
So very, very low on this. And again, I have to attribute this to a government problem because you have China, which is the least charitable country in the world.
That's not just, you're not just saying that, it's true.
No, it's true.
Like,
it's the least.
When it comes to donating,
it's battling it out with Greece.
Yeah, when it comes to donating to charity, it doesn't happen in China. Charities aren't really a thing.
Yes. So you have that paired with this, paired to the whole lack of Good Samaritan situation in China. And the issue is the government tells people that it's not their problem. Yeah. And in fact, they incentivize people not to take matters into their own hands because people will oftentimes get the short end of the stick. They'll be blamed for whatever problem there is. So you don't help people.
That's what I was going to say, is that in China, if you were to go and try to go to the police to report it, it would probably cause you so much hassle.
Yes.
Suddenly you'd be held responsible. Maybe they'd try to blame you for stealing the wallet, Sure. They'd want you to fill out paperwork. There'd be a whole thing. So a lot of people want to avoid that.
Right.
I mean, dude, I remember there was once I was riding my little e-bike around in near where I lived in Shenzhen, and there was a bridge, and there was a dude, like a homeless dude with no clothes on, standing on the top of the bridge about to jump off of it. Okay, it was a bridge going over the highway. So
was it over troubled water?
It was over a troubled highway.
Oh, troubled highway.
So I rushed to the nearest police station.
Yeah.
And I was like, ran up.
Yeah, I remember.
And I'm like, in my poor broken Chinese, I'm like, there's a man standing on the bridge there, Meo Yifu, like no clothes. He's gonna tiao, he's gonna jump. And they were like, that's not our jurisdiction. That's not our. It was just down the road. I literally went. It was like a 2-minute. Yeah, exactly. They were like, not my problem. I was like, what the. I went back and the dude wasn't there anymore. I don't know what happened to him. But
did you look down?
Yeah, I did.
Did you look up?
Yeah, I looked up. Yeah, but I was very disappointed that was the attitude that China had.
Yeah, for sure. And the issue is there's a lot of countries on here, and again, I would like to combat your whole. I know your preconceived notion is maybe if it was in a poor area, there'd be more people taking it, and I would probably that's a natural instinct to think that, but a lot of these countries are poorer than China. Yeah. China ranked lower than that, and I think that's interesting to look at.
Oh no, I fully agree with that, and it's a combination of what we were talking about. It's the fact that if you do anything in China that's out of the ordinary, you can just ruin your life.
Yes.
That's why people don't step in to help when someone is in desperate need, like drowning or being run over by traffic. I did video about that recently. My video is called like China is not safe.
Yeah.
Definitely watch that if you want to know about this. It's a terrible situation that when people actually want to help, they get punished. So people do not help.
Yes.
And it's led to one of the most awful societies to ever be in an emergency in.
That's correct.
If you are a woman by yourself and you're being beaten up by a gang of thugs or whatever, no one's going to step in.
As you see.
As what happened.
By the way, update on the beating.
Yeah, the main guy got some
sentenced to 24 years in jail. But the most interesting thing is what people aren't talking about. China's using it as a propaganda victory to say, look at how harshly we sentence people.
Yeah.
Turns out there were 8 local officials involved in trying to basically get them out of it. And if it didn't go viral on Chinese media and then on Western media, nothing would have happened.
No.
Nothing happens in these areas where you have local connections.
Yeah, so the local police did not investigate the case at first. They refused to investigate the case. They weren't going to do anything.
Because they're involved with criminals.
Yeah, and if the, like you said, if it hadn't gone viral, and there wasn't that much attention on it, it would have disappeared. The women would have been beaten to death and no one would have cared.
That's what's so scary about outside of main Chinese cities. The local police that are in charge of everything, right, are oftentimes completely in bed with criminal gangs.
Yeah, they are.
They're the same thing. So think about if something happened, if you're a victim of something, why do you think nothing happens?
When I was in Shenzhen, I was sitting in a place where you could get a foot massage downstairs. I used to go all the time. It was like 25 RMB or whenever I got there. It was really cheap. So me and my buddy, we used to go sit there. You even get like a free...
Those outdoor ones?
Oh, it's like indoors.
Oh, okay.
But like how it works is you walk into the bottom and then they've got all those chairs where you sit down and, you can look out onto the street.
Right. The window ones.
Yeah,
like where you get an IV.
Yeah, exactly. But it's super nice. You could sit there. They give you a free cup of like coffee, but it's like instant coffee.
Yeah, Nescafe.
I actually made a bunch of videos way back. If you want to go look at my terrible editing and video skills, I filmed those foot massage places. I used to love it. Whenever friends would come over or visit me in China, or whenever I met subscribers, I'd take them to these places because it's cheap and you get like a 45-minute foot massage and all that kind of stuff. But upstairs they had dodgy stuff going on, obviously, right? So one day I'm sitting there having a foot massage and a swarm of police come in. And they all like rush upstairs. Next minute, I see a manager run out. He goes and buys like a tower of Wang Laoji, Wang Laoji, Jiao Bao, we've spoken about that.
Herbal tea.
Yeah, it's like a tea. And he ran up the stairs to give them all their tea. And they did their little chat up there. And the cops then just kind of sauntered out a little later, all looking real happy. And everything was taken care of. They obviously paid their bribe or whatever it was. And nothing happened.
Yep.
That's kind of how it works. The cops are criminals.
Yes.
For
Absolutely.
the majority, and especially in the smaller towns, because the incentive for them to be good is very low. The paycheck is super low in China for a policeman. Like, it's really bad. Like, your average cop gets paid nothing.
No, you have to make money elsewhere. Also, if you try to be the good cop, then you're the one that gets nailed to the cross.
Yeah, all your other bad cop buddies are going to be
done.
like...
You're done. It's like government officials. Even if you're a really good government official, you want to join the CCP, you want to be the good guy. If you don't get involved with the bad stuff, I'm saying 100% of the time, by the way.
Yeah.
You don't get involved in some degree with the bad stuff, then you're the outsider that's going to rat people out. And then people will nail you to the cross.
Yeah, they'll get rid of you.
Anyway.
It's kind of like, when you're a bunch of people and everyone's drinking and then there's that one guy's a teetotaler and everyone's just like, can this guy piss off?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like he's ruining the mood. Get him out of here.
He's ruining the mood.
Yeah.
Anyway, now stop.
Okay.
I wanted to say one more thing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm very curious about Peru. Because it's the only country where both were exactly the same. Someone's like, this wallet has money, this wallet doesn't have money. I want both.
Yes.
Give me that wallet.
Yeah, I mean, it's 11%.
It's equal.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember there were a lot of money scams in China a while ago. Do you remember that scam that was going around where somebody would put money on the ground?
Yeah.
So they would put like I don't know, 300 RMB, 500 RMB, and then if someone picked it up, and then they'd run up and say, "Oh, that's mine."
That's mine. I dropped it.
And they're like, "Okay, here," and then they're like, "No, there was 1,500 here.
Yeah.
You've taken the rest."
No, they even get the police involved.
Then they get the police involved, and so I think the reason why the ones with money were returned more is they probably thought, "Oh shit, this is probably a scam. I got to get rid of this right now." Report it straight away.
That was a common scam.
That was a common scam. It was freaking annoying.
It was less about you seeing it in real life, but people talked about it a lot. So it's obviously happening.
When I was working at this one ESL training center, we super glued a 1 RMB coin to the tiles outside the building.
We used to do that at quarters in America.
Okay, it was kind of funny to see the amount of people that try to pick it up.
It's hilarious. We do it outside like a McDonald's or whatever.
Yeah. Oh well,
funny,
good fun.
Funny as hell.
Good fun. Anyway, stupid little prankish nonsense. What's going on? Isn't this wonderful? What do we got here? I love this.
Some buildings in Chengdu. I thought this was mad dystopian.
There is one thing. I've been going through a lot of my footage. I filmed a lot, and there's a very, very cool aesthetic that you can find in China. And it's something that I like a lot, is that kind of dystopian, cyberpunk kind of feel. Because you can film the most filthy, disgusting, dirty, rundown building and then right next it'll be like a shiny skyscraper.
Yeah.
And that what do you even call that? That duality, that the contrast between the two. Yeah, the juxtaposition. That's the word I'm looking for. Between the two is really cool, and it's very dystopian. It's not something that's nice. You don't.
I don't like that.
I like it
Puts
because
me in a bad mood.
I'm a big fan of cyberpunk and dystopian future type stuff. So for me, I enjoy the aesthetic a lot.
Right.
It's not fantastic to live in that aesthetic, though.
No, you just like to look at it.
Yeah, and it's nice to film. So yeah, this kind of almost ticks the boxes, but unfortunately, all the red and that gold stuff makes it look too tacky. So it doesn't meet that cyberpunk look. You need more neon colors, and you need like a drizzle, maybe a hover car.
Not for that reason at all.
Okay, so what is the reason you have this in here?
Just celebrating like 100 years of the party. Anyway, the point I did was the comment attached to it. Someone sent me. I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because this is bragging. This is showing how advanced it is, China is, and it's because of the party. And the comment attached to it said, it was obviously maybe some sort of redneck or something. It said, I don't know about you there in Chengdu, but I'm in my little, redneck town in Alabama, and I can go to my faucet and drink the water, and I know you can't.
No,
so how developed are you?
Yeah, not in that fancy building. And that's something people do overlook, is that the sanitation systems in China.
Can't drink the water.
I mean, and I'm talking about like
toilet paper. You can't flush toilet paper. In that building, you can't flush toilet paper.
No, you can't flush toilet paper. It's kind of disgusting. It's something a lot of people don't talk about, but in China, the majority of toilets, they have a little bin next to it.
With shit toilet paper.
And you wipe your ass and you throw the dirty toilet paper in the bin.
Yes.
You don't flush
Sometimes
it down
it's
the toilet.
Open. Sometimes the bin's open.
It smells bad either way.
It smells like shit, because there's shit toilet paper in there.
So even in like...
From lots of people mixed together.
Yeah. Even in fancy hotels and stuff, you get that. So just so you know, the plumbing in China sucks. The drainage sucks too.
Oh, everything flood. Like in the city, I lived in a very developed city up north.
Yeah.
And when it would rain, it was dry. When it would rain, the entire city would flood, and it was almost just accepted. It wasn't like, wow. It was just accepted.
Yeah, I mean, down in Guangdong,
that was common. But I'm saying in a place that doesn't even rain, it barely rained, and it would flood. Barely.
Well, look at that horrible situation where everyone drowned in that tunnel.
Yeah.
Thousands of people, and they said 3. Yeah, it's just not good.
Yeah.
Drainage is bad, sanitation's bad, like the plumbing's bad. You get it, it's bad.
People are shocked by the shit bins, the communal shit bins.
Oh, they are?
That's very
It's
common.
actually super gross.
It's
because
wicked gross.
When you go into a toilet, and it could be in a building in a city, and it could be in a semi-rural place, it doesn't matter where, and you see that bin, and there's like some yellowy brown shit paper, like, and it's facing you there. It's really gross.
You look at it. You have to look at it, smell it.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
And then you have to add to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
I got a story about one of those bins, I tell you what. Don't know if
we all have bins and shit.
I don't know if I should tell the story. Maybe I should tell the story. I'll tell the story.
Why don't you tell it in Yamcha?
Okay, remind me. I'll tell you the shit bin story in Yamcha, because it's quite a story. I'll tell you, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Brings back awful memories. Yeah, shit bin stories for Yamcha. And that cool clip where all these, like...
See? Are you
this
convinced?
stuff's gonna come from. Don't worry, we got more of those.
What do you want?
Anyways, let's move on. Now, something that's actually an awful bit of news over here, but we have to talk about it. This happened last week. Is that a bus crashed. Now, think about this. One person was positive in a building, okay? So because that one person was positive, they rounded everybody up in the building, including 26 people that were not positive, okay? Mm-hmm. And they tested negative, but so what? Because one person was positive in that building, you're all going to quarantine camp. Get on this bus. They drive.
Get on the bus.
Get on the bus. Yeah, and they start beating them up. Yeah. Anyway, so they get on the bus. They drive. Bus crashes. 27 people killed, and another 20-something were injured. Because there was like 40-something people on that bus.
Yeah.
How dumb is that? What a waste of life. People do not want to go to these quarantine camps. They've tested negative. They've been good. They've been doing their tests. They've been staying at home. One person tested positive in the building. They load everyone up on a bus. Bus crashes. Half the people in the bus die.
Yes.
Isn't that stupid?
Yes.
Doesn't it show you how dumb?
Unnecessary.
It's so dumb because none of those people would have died from COVID anyway. You know what I mean?
No,
they would not have.
No.
It's like a cold. It's like the flu these days.
Yeah.
What a load of crap. This is the absurdity of China's zero COVID policies. Unnecessary deaths that are happening all over the place.
Unnecessary.
Not only this, it's the people that haven't been able to get medical care, the people that have starved in their, the old people who can't use apps and stuff, starved to death in their apartments, all this other nonsense, suicides, all that crap. It's really like a dumb thing. This should be a massive embarrassment for China and the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah.
It should be their most embarrassing thing ever.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's going to be no one to pay the piper.
No, not at all. Anyway, let's move on from that rather depressing news. Stupid nonsense. I guess we're going to do a super chat before we do worldview.
Sure.
All right, let's do a super chat or two.
A possible person says, I suffer from cooties and I've never been at high risk of anyone touching me. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mackenzie, I already read that. Treston Michan says, people should encourage state legislatures to ban Chinese companies from owning land in their states. Yes,
especially if they're connected to the government.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ezekiel.
All Chinese companies are connected to the government, actually.
Unless you can prove otherwise.
Yeah.
Valhalla Spare Bus Driver says, I knew that imported Chinese bus bodies weren't known for strength. However, none of our locally built buses ever managed to fall ill due to COVID.
Yeah. It's so dumb. Like, seriously, a mirror. Like, what? Like, they did truck tires, remember? Those trucks hauling, like, construction material and stuff. We did that, and they were, like, testing the truck tires. Remember that for COVID?
Yes,
like, what nonsense is that?
Jen Hull says,
what do they have against Vietnamese?
I love Chinese cinema in the late 80s and early 90s, like Raise the Red Lantern by Judo. Yeah, me too. That was my favorite time period too.
Especially Hong Kong stuff.
Yeah. Does anything they make now rise that level of sophistication? Absolutely not.
No.
Mostly xenophobic bullshit.
Yep.
I miss Tam. Nicole. Kenzie Dravid says, in reference to the Xi Jinping under house arrest, says, I hope it turns out to be a so-called rumor.
Yes, in other words, true. Yeah.
Norman Ferris says, while I enjoy a pineapple cake, I wonder how long until the CCP betrays Russia to reclaim some of their territory, unless she was arrested. Yeah, who knows? Catherine Gillen, I'm in the UK and our banks have added new TCs and stated if economic markets affect the banking system, they will limit our accounts and charge us if there's too much in the account. Now London Finance runs LIBOR that runs worldwide.
I don't know what that is.
Look into that. Thank you for the info.
But yeah, I'll tell you that in South Africa, there's all sorts of funny things with the government freezing accounts at the moment. If people cannot prove that they're permanent residents and stuff.
Yeah.
They've been doing that to Zimbabweans a lot. It's really unfortunate.
Wow.
I got a lot of Zimbabwean friends.
Yeah.
And,
I got a Zimbabwean friend. I'll have to ask him.
Grew up with him.
Jerry Huang says, Reddit once banned my account for 3 days after I exposed some hate messages I got for being anti-CCP, claiming it was harassment. So absurd. Yeah, they will go after you, Jerry.
Yep, we all have to watch out for that. That's one of their major tools is they use...
Major tool?
Yeah, exactly. They harass people and then they use the anti-harassment tools of all these websites to try and silence anyone.
That's right.
Anyway, let's move on. Worldview, where we talk about everything in the world, specifically with regards to China. And man, oh man, do we have some projection for you this time. What do we got going on here, C-Milk? What are we looking at? NSA, USA, CIA, MSNBC, FBI. What else can we say? Like, I don't know. And put out a...
DOD.
Yeah. What do they call when someone... APB.
ATF.
Exactly. Whatever, right? Lots of acronyms going on here.
There isn't. That was completely unnecessary. There's only one acronym, and it's NSA.
Okay. Whatever. USA, NSA.
Okay.
NSA of the USA.
The NSA
is MIA.
Is MIA? Yes. Yes. National Security Agency, right?
Right.
They have been accused by China of having hacked their telecommunications network. And they did it.
Wait, that sounds like.
No shit. Of course it does, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Here's what happened. A hacking technique where a malicious link was included in an email, so just a phishing link.
Just a phishing link, yeah.
Was sent to a government-funded university, which is all universities in China, Northwestern Polytechnical University in Xi'an. They exploited some vulnerabilities by sending a phishing link, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, considering they still run Windows XP, it's probably very easy.
No problem.
Yeah,
right?
no problem. There we go.
So the NSA had the very grand idea of saying, you know what, there's this little university in Xi'an. This Polytechnical University, by the way, is at the bottom in China. we're gonna go through there. We're gonna get access to everything.
We're gonna hack the telecommunications through the university's Windows XP like desktop.
Yes.
Okay.
Like the admissions board.
Yeah.
This is what China is claiming they got.
Okay.
American hackers through the NSA, by the way, not like anonymous.
No.
American hackers stole core technology data that included key network equipment configuration, network management data, and core operational data. So just basic bullshit that would be in the university, right?
This sounds like, I used to set up networks for corporations back in the day. You've got your network operations, say your NOC or whatever, and you set out, okay, we're going to have like an SQL server, an Exchange server, this or that or whatever, like some netware or something. And this is how, that sounds like, they got our network configuration, so they now know that we have 3 servers and 5 workstations and a network printer.
That's what they're claiming. However,
okay.
You want to see where this goes?
Sure.
I'll show you the lack of kind of thought process, the lack of like planning in their public statement here, because this is what they said.
Right.
After they stole that, right?
Right.
Well, the reason they stole that is part of the NSA's hack. The agency infiltrated Chinese telecommunications operators so that the U.S. can control China's infrastructure.
Wow. I mean,
that's the allegation.
Maybe they can like remotely turn off that printer.
Yeah, it's just, they can
like
print
you've
out
controlled our
like pictures
structure.
of butts.
Yeah, come on.
That's, by the way, I guess China's entire economy and infrastructure runs off of like black and white photocopies of butts.
Yeah.
Because
Seriously
that's what
though,
they can control.
If there was even a sliver of truth to this would mean that they are so dumb that they would have their university whatever computer that someone can click a link on is now linked to their core infrastructure.
Yes.
What in the
It's
do
like
they have
NSA at USA.gov sends like local singles in your area, Xi'an, 30 miles away, and it's got a picture of like a MILF.
Yeah.
And somebody clicked that, and now China's infrastructure is done. Basically.
Yeah, because
it's over.
The main nuclear power like control board is inside the university.
Yes.
But
I mean, it sucks that they had to hide all of this. All of China's infrastructure is in this university.
Yeah, yeah.
Why would they put it
Such
there?
A crock of shit.
Crazy.
But remember, what was it? The whole train system in which city was it? Like a big city died because Adobe Flash stopped being supported or whatever.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes. Scott has a good point. They can turn off all the printers and put them on eco mode, and then they can make them use all their ink and toner faster.
They better not update the firmware, otherwise HP will be like, you may not use your printer unless you use only original stuff.
Because it's all fake.
It's all fake,
It's
yeah.
all rip-offs.
Yeah. I mean, come on, China. They just need an excuse to vilify the USA.
Yes.
And there it is right there.
Yeah.
China, the number one, other than maybe Russia, like hacking country that dedicates so many resources to hacking. They've stolen, it's been proven, like DoD secrets on the F-35 and all the military stuff. China has stolen and then built this stuff. So it's not like, oh no, we didn't steal that. No, they stole it and then they built it. So you're like, oh, you did steal that, didn't you?
Yeah,
you know
I just want everyone to know, be very careful. If you get any sort of, emails that say local MILFs in your area and it's from the NSA.gov, don't click that because they'll change your printer settings.
Yeah, I know. Better watch out for that. Anyway, so other than this hack the planet shit, cookie virus nonsense that we've had to deal with over here, what have we got next?
This is actually, not related to hacking, but related to actually what happens when a country has nefarious goals.
Yes, okay, now explain what's going on here.
So over the past 20 years,
yes,
right?
Arsenian,
yeah, right. So if we talk about this program that the U.S. has, in general, what the U.S. does is attract talent because the U.S. is a more appealing country, right, than other countries. So you'll attract countries' best talent, who bring it over.
Why do you think I'm here?
Exactly. Right? You're talented.
The best talent South Africa has to offer.
All right.
Just
You're
kidding.
showing your connections.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but seriously,
it's the CIA. No, you wouldn't be here if you were
It's
the
true.
CIA.
Like the whole point of me wanting to move to America is because it's better.
Yeah.
No joke. Like it is. It's
of course.
better than South Africa. It's better than China. I mean, the lifestyle, the way of living, what's available. It's
a
just
better place to be.
Better for me anyway.
Sure. Now.
Yeah, I guess if you're a sadomasochist, you'd love to stay in the developing world
if
you had that choice. But that's why
you want shit bins.
That's why you get people, and I'm going to lump myself into that, who work incredibly hard to make it to the developed world.
Yeah, you're from a developing country.
Yeah, I'm from Africa. Okay, all right. to get to places like the UK or America or Australia or Canada, you get people who work their asses off. You know, if you're born in these countries, you're just a privileged like person born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You really are. You just don't realize it.
Sure.
But people that work really hard. So next time you see like an immigrant family in your neighborhood, don't be like, these damn immigrants. They've worked super hard to get there.
I agree.
All right. So that's what makes America good, like you say, is that people want to move here.
Yeah.
So people who have the drive and the talent and the ability to work incredibly hard, make it here.
Yes.
You know? Or people that are really good at jumping over walls anyway.
Yeah.
At least that's what you'd think if you listen to the news.
Sliding down snakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Anyway, the fact of the matter is...
That's a Shaban Ho joke.
Yeah, it is
You'd
a
have to
Shaban
be
Ho
there
joke.
to know it.
The fact of the matter is, you're right. So scientists and so on, they come to America because it's better than being in Soviet Russia, for instance.
Correct.
And then what do they do?
When that existed.
Yeah, so what do they do here once they escape the communists from the Iron Curtain or whatever the case? In my case, it'd be like the Burvos Curtain or whatever. You get past there, the bamboo curtain, you get here, you're like, yeah, I'm in the land of the free. What do you do?
Well, let me tell you what happens.
But what do you do? You're here. You're like, what am I going to do? Like what? I'm going to eat a hamburger. No, what do you do?
You work.
Yes, you work.
Yeah,
and you work hard.
I appreciate your aside, but I was literally in the middle of trying to say what happened.
Yeah, but we have to set it up, right?
Right, but now you're like asking me weird questions.
It's not. What do you do? You work hard, right?
Right.
And
so
you
back
can't,
on track here.
But before anyone continues, like if you want to know how difficult it is to stay in America when it comes to immigration, it's tough. You need to prove that you're worthy of being here. So you have to work hard. You have to make a name for yourself. You have to contribute.
Yes.
You know? And if you don't contribute, then you're out of here, basically. So that's what you're saying is people come here, scientists and so on, and they contribute greatly. They bring talent. They bring talent, they bring ideas.
In fact, one of the heads of the program said that Chinese talent was incredibly important to a lot of these programs.
Yeah, very smart people.
However,
for
the past 20 years, at least 154 Chinese scientists who worked on U.S. government projects, so federal projects, right? In the foremost national security office, right?
Yeah.
Turned out to have been poached back into China by the Chinese government with grants up to $1 million for some of these people.
Yeah.
And it was his systematic effort of the 1,000 Talents program going to find people that have already worked on these very sensitive projects and said, now it's time to come home and bring them back.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a huge, huge issue because it flies in the face of, well, it's good enough for them here, so they're going to stay here. That changed because now the packages are so appealing to make them come back with that information that China's offering outlandish, lavish packages to these people to come home. Set them up and protect them and everything.
Yeah, it's not even coming home. They have a...
Not home, I should say.
No, I mean, no, you can say that, but it's not even that. They have a saying in China that these guys that are very, like, anti-America, they're like, make a career hating America, but live in America.
But live in America,
because that they make their money by hating America, or they make their money by talking shit about America, but then they actually live there because they actually prefer living there.
Yeah.
So you'll get the most vocal critics of America, their families and their houses, and it's all in America.
Yep.
You know, there's that kind of thing. So what happens is this 1,000 Talents program doesn't only go after Chinese people, by the way.
No.
It goes after everyone.
No. There are Americans implicated in this.
They use LinkedIn specifically, and so let's say they're looking for, I don't know, some technology for a submarine they're developing, and they're looking for a sonar system or something. They will go onto people's LinkedIn and search for electrical engineers, sonar engineers, people that work on submarines, because people normally list all that, the companies they work for, and they're an engineer and this and that, and then they will actually start talking to them. Oh, we've got a business opportunity for you, blah blah blah. Oh, you work for Raytheon. Great. How about we have a little meeting here? It's like, you know what? We're going to give you $1 million in your own research facility in China.
And we'll protect you.
And we'll protect. All you need to do is, share some of the advancements that you've helped make anyway.
We know people that were approached, actually.
Yeah, we do. So that's
many
how
of the
works.
scientists that were lured back into China, this is what they were actually poached for. Deep Earth penetrating warheads, hypersonic missiles, quiet submarines, and drones.
There we go.
And
all
again,
war stuff.
There were non-Chinese Americans implicated in some of these, the people that got caught. And it's just because China is offering, this sheer amount of money China is offering to get this information. And why would China have such a different trajectory in their ambitions? Well, it's not like 20 years ago when this started, right? There was a bit of partnership, and China wasn't treated like a suspicious entity, right? Because China was doing its own thing. It was kind of liberalizing in many ways. And now China's ambitions have been to close off like North Korea and use all the technology that's stolen.
Yeah.
For military ambitions.
Correct.
So it's a very bad situation we're in. And there was a quote, I believe, I can't remember who it was, but said that we're utterly unprepared for dealing with China in its current state, with their current ambitions, and we have to regroup.
I do believe that the Western world, and America in particular, has been very unprepared and has basically just not seen what's been happening in its backyard for the longest time. And
it's changing now.
It is, finally, but it's all this Confucius Institute shit, it's all these United Front shit, it's everything to do with the language barrier that prevents people from seeing what's going on. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of crap going on, undermining American society and so on, at the behest of the Chinese Communist Party. And it's about time people paid attention to it. Hopefully our show helps shine the light on some of this stuff so that people can see what's going on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The CCP's a nasty, crafty government, you know?
Yeah.
So
now let's get into Yumcha.
All right, we're going to get into Yumcha. So let's do it, guys. For those... Welcome everybody to episode 125 of The China Show, also known as ADV Podcasts, at least it used to be.
It did. I don't think we have to say it anymore. It's just The China Show now.
It's just The China Show. Yeah. Everybody, we have a pretty jam-packed episode as usual.
More so than usual.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff happening in China which we'd like to share with you. I think we're just going to get right into it, saunter right into it. What do you say?
We are, but not before everyone caresses the like button.
Oh, come on, enough of that. All right, let's saunter into what's new. This is where we talk about what's new, specifically with regards to China. Now, what we have here, guys, in the background is something of interest to people who care about technology. Okay?
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's some sort of weapon.
It's
with
just
a laser pointer taped to a Scotch tape.
It's basically the Chinese military assault rifle, and what they were doing was interviewing a soldier.
Yeah.
He's talking about his rifle, and that it has a laser sight on it. Okay,
Yeah.
which is nothing new, by the way. Laser sights have been, on weapons for many decades now. But that just looks like someone took a laser pointer. You know those things that...
Well, it is just that.
Yeah, laser pointers is what people annoy other people with.
It's one of those 90s ones.
You play with your cat, And what they've done is just use sellotape to attach it to the barrel.
Scotch tape.
Yeah.
As we say here.
Yeah, same thing, right?
What I do want to say is, how did that make it to the news? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, why did they say well, the translation was like for precision targeting. They're not very precise with their spelling over there. Anyway,
whoever translated.
Fact of the matter is, this is very Chabador.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd just.
All right, I'm seeing people say Chabudor wrong. Can we teach everyone how to spell it?
Sure.
CHABUDUO.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it down. Cha. If I see someone say Chabdoa or something again, I'm gonna lose it.
Cha means wrong, okay? Bu means means wrong, not correct. Bu means not, and duo means a lot.
Yeah.
So it's not wrong by a lot.
Yeah, not wrong by a lot means good enough.
Yes.
Almost.
Good enough, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you try to make it, think about it like this. Someone tells you, draw a straight line. And you draw it kind of straight, a couple squiggles. They're like, well, it's not too bad. It's okay. It's not a straight line, but it's almost a straight line, so we'll accept it.
Do you know why I'm anal about that?
Why?
Because if you're gonna be not Chabudor, then you spell Chabudor correctly. Does that make sense? That's what separates you from the Chabudor people. Agreed. This bro is gonna float away.
Yeah, so what's happening with this?
So there was a meme template people put out on our subreddit,
Yeah.
which I thought was absolutely hilarious, and it was the so-called. So Chinese state officials keep saying everything is so-called. It is the new thing.
Yeah.
It is the hot thing to say if you're in the CCP world, is to call anything from the West so-called.
Well, it's anything that they don't agree with. They just try to belittle it by saying the so-called resolution.
They don't understand how to use it.
Yeah.
Because what they do is use it in situations where something is real.
Yes.
It's not so-called. It's a real thing, but they just don't like it.
Yes.
So it means I don't like this.
Yes. That's what they do. Exactly.
It's like, I don't like this, so I'm going to call it so-called. Right? So this says the so-called Hawaii of China, which I thought was great. Pearl White Beaches, really.
Oh, yeah. You know who likes that a lot? There we go. Hanan, right there.
Chex Mix on my shirt.
Yeah, what's going on with our thing here?
For the show.
Yeah. Anyway, so anyway, this is pretty funny.
Oh, who's this guy, by the way? This is the.
I think he's the Australian ambassador to China.
He is.
Or the Chinese ambassador in Australia.
He's a wolf warrior of note.
Oh yeah, no, he's not a good guy.
Literally has a balloon for a head, and I don't like to make fun of people's appearances, but what would you do in his situation to rectify the balloon head?
Probably shave the hair off.
Doesn't that make it worse? It brings attention. It frames the balloon.
Yeah, because you can't wear a hat in a formal circumstance, so you'd have to shave it off. No. He could also get a toupee, maybe.
Yeah. Did you see Batian Sao's version of him?
No.
I should have put the protest art.
Okay.
I'll show you next time.
All right.
But you made his head like he's like a demon.
Oh, okay. It's pretty funny. All right, excellent. So.
Someone made
the so-called peaceful rise, yeah.
That's my new video today. Yes, about the China's peaceful rise that they claim.
Yeah.
Again, so-called peaceful rise, and that's the correct way to use that because China hasn't had a peaceful rise.
Yeah.
It's so-called. Right.
Yeah, guys, seriously, that's a myth that the Chinese government has managed to, I don't know, make pervade the world, and they try to make it as if China's been a peaceful country and is a peaceful country and doesn't. Hasn't attacked anyone, is unlike the USA, because they like to use the USA and say, look how terrible the USA is, always bombing the Middle East and always doing this and that and the next thing, and racism and gun violence and all that kind of stuff. So that's their big trump card. They basically throw it down and say, hey, look, America's so violent and terrible, China's so peaceful and nice. But it's actually just a lie, because China is not peaceful and nice and never has been.
No.
Never.
That's why I made that video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it was shocking to me in my research. I knew most of this stuff, but there were certain things where I was like, wow, 25 million people died in modern times, and they don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
The most baffling thing to me, and I don't want to harp on about this, you can watch the video, but if China's claiming that for 5,000 years it was always China with a 9-dash line in Taiwan and it looked the same, it looked like that chicken, the way that China looks, then how did it get to be that way, right? Yeah. It's just simple logic that a country expanded through war. Yeah. In land acquisition.
Yeah, and
that's how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works.
But no, not
China. No, not at all. So anyway, listen, we all know by now that Queen Elizabeth II has passed away, and for a lot of people it's a terrible time. It's not nice, especially if you grew up your whole life, and she was always a sort of a symbol there, always on the money, always on the stamps. Obviously not in America. But in South Africa...
I'm going to just throw this out there for us Americans. We did fight the Revolutionary War to get rid of, British occupation in the U.S. So it's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different.
But what I do want to throw as a caveat in there,
is?
I don't understand why. And by the way, I have my sympathy. I'm giving my sympathy.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why throughout my childhood, bored housewives loved the monarchy and the royalty and stuff.
Yeah, Princess Diana and Prince Charles and all that.
Bro, we fought to get rid of that stuff. Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but there's a fascination with it in South Africa too. And I even remember...
But that's an ex-colony.
I actually vividly remember, and I must have been really young, preschool or something, like 5 years old or something, but I remember vividly our teachers forcing us to all go sit and watch the marriage between Princess Diana and Prince Charles. You're a little kid, and they actually set up a TV in whatever common room or whatever it is, and everyone had to sit and watch the marriage. Anyway,
so-called marriage.
The so-called marriage, yeah. The fact of the matter is that the Queen is well loved and respected around the world.
And I get that.
Okay.
That's where I can agree.
Yeah, there are lots of people who don't like her, too. I mean, that's always what happens. There's lots of people who dislike monarchy and all that.
Yeah.
I'm
going to be honest with you, I can't stand monarchy.
Yeah.
But
that kind of monarchy is different.
No, it's different. It's symbolic. Yeah. Right, so.
It's not like China, which really has a real monarchy.
Yeah.
Patriarchy. Well, you've got you have a dictator, and born into privilege because he was born into the Communist Party with lineage and nepotism and everything. It all works out the same.
Sure.
Fact of the matter is, we're getting off point here.
Yeah,
is
the
that
so-called queen.
Yeah, lots of people love her, respect her. And there's a fair amount of people out there who don't like her and are, celebrating and whatnot. And whatever your choice is, that's up to you. But when someone dies, especially someone that important around the world, there is a certain amount of respect that you expect from a diplomatic level. Okay?
Yeah, of course.
And we've seen outpourings from all countries around the world. People saying sending their condolences.
Of course, I'll put it this way. Someone that's not that concerned about the monarchy, when I see that, I know it's big news, and I know people are going to be upset. And when I have British friends that a couple of them were a little bit upset, I say, I'm so sorry to hear that. Right? It's just a normal human thing to do.
Yeah, and from a diplomatic level, you send your condolences. Look, even if I don't know, Xi Jinping were to die tomorrow. Which is unfortunate. That's not going to happen. But if that happened, okay.
Don't defeat your point.
No, I'm not. You would still see in America and the UK and stuff that send condolences to China. The passing of your leader and that kind of thing, whether you like him or not.
Right.
There's still a certain amount of diplomatic decorum.
Yes.
And at the very least, you would expect some coverage in the press about it.
Right.
What did China's press look like? What has it been looking like for the last couple of days?
I like this Masha Borek's tweet here.
Mm-hmm.
It says, Queen Elizabeth's death coverage by Chinese state news agency Xinhua. Xinhua's the big one.
Yeah.
It says, Xi's time. She presents order to promote military officer to rank of general. She extends congratulations on the North Korea's 74th founding anniversary. Go to the next slide. I have a picture I took of the
actual website?
Of the website. These shock me, by the way, these state media websites in English. They're more shocking in Chinese, but in English it's shocking because they think this is palatable.
Yeah.
To foreigners.
What's going on? Yeah, so this is their English news, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's clean. This is every other news around the world has got at least something about the Queen passing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something. Not China.
Let's look at this for a second. I want everyone to absorb this. This is the front page Xinhua, China's news outlet, right?
Yeah.
Xi's time. Xi's meets model civil servants. She
replies to letter from students in teacher training program at the Beijing Normal University.
She presents order to promote military officer. Any other Xis? Xi Jinping, congratulatory letter. Xi Jinping replies to letter.
Yeah. I mean, it's. Does anyone else think this is absurd?
This is crazy.
This is when a cult of personality reaches like
it's Mao level
the extreme.
Now. It's Mao level now.
Yeah. This is the front page, by the way. Xinhua is the big outlet of official news from China. Okay, this is the official government news.
Yeah.
And all it's saying is she this, she that.
Yeah,
she's
it's not
thought,
some
she
interpretation.
No, it is.
Yeah.
This is the Chinese government's news.
Right.
And this is their English language page, and their Chinese language page is even worse.
This is worse than much worse than the Soviet Union.
There's nothing other than praise for this dictator. There's nothing other than like what he said and what he thinks and what he ate for breakfast or whatever.
This is Hitler level.
It is. It's ridiculous, okay?
Yeah.
And in a time like this when an important like head of a state, the queen passed on, you would expect at least one mention. But no.
There was later, by the way. But this was, the lost in its own bullshit immediate response.
Of course. It came far too late after there was criticism.
After there's criticism. Yeah,
there's lots
actually
of
Chinese
criticism.
netizens were the ones that were criticizing it.
It's like, are you going to even mention this? Or do we have to hear what Xi Jinping had for breakfast or what his bowel movement is?
I should have included the Weibo post. But yeah, the people are like, where's the news about the queen?
Yeah. Just very insensitive and actually crazy. And what is this picture?
It's a donkey.
Okay, yeah. Okay, what do you want to talk about this donkey?
It's just a normal donkey.
Okay.
It is just a normal donkey in a road.
Uh-huh.
What you might notice is that this donkey has a certain organ.
Sure.
That he is lucky to have.
Okay.
Why is he lucky to have this organ?
Well, they caught a whole bunch, actually, like, what was it? How many tons was it?
Well, it's 6,000.
6,000? Was it 6,000?
Yeah.
They found 6,000 donkey penises on their way to China from, was it Nigeria?
Nigeria, Lagos, yeah.
Yeah. Being exported to China where...
Now, up to 7,000 now.
Oh, up to 7,000. Yeah. Okay, so a whole lot of bags of donkey things. Because it's a delicacy in China.
Do you know how they got it?
How?
The smell.
From the smell?
Yeah, they're rotting.
Great, even better.
So you want donkey penises rotting in a bag. Anyway, do you ever heard like choke on a bag of donkey dicks or something?
Yeah, sure.
Like as an insult?
Sure.
I mean, someone kind of did.
Yeah.
At least with the smell.
I mean, look, it's bizarre, but this does touch on something which it doesn't get a lot of coverage, and I'm just gonna get us out of it.
Come on.
No, it's awful.
It's a normal donkey.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but we don't need to subject our audience.
Sure.
There is a demand for certain types of animal byproduct, or animal products, I should say, in China.
Yeah.
Which that demand doesn't really come from anywhere else.
No.
Okay? No. And it's all down to the traditional Chinese medicine beliefs. And unfortunately, this demand, especially since the population is so large, the demand is massive. So, let's just say only 0.1% of the population wants to have a donkey penis for dinner.
Sure.
Okay?
It's not usually like satiate your hunger.
No, but it's because they believe it gives them strength or libido or something.
Yeah.
That equals millions of people.
Yeah.
So you have to see it from that point of view. And that's why we have all this terrible situation where rhinos are being hunted to extinction because of the rhino horns. Pangolins, because of their scales and traditional Chinese medicine, are being hunted into extinction.
Yep.
Rare animals around the world are basically being hunted into extinction because of this really terrible traditional Chinese medicine belief.
I do want to throw something in there to make it worse, because I think a lot of people get hung up on the Chinese medicine aspect of it.
Right.
But you know what's worse for species is not Chinese medicine. It's actually things like fur, because the entire populations of animals will be wiped out for like the fur trade and stuff. And people pay attention to tigers and stuff. I understand, but there's whole ecosystems that are destroyed for things like fur or other reasons too, right? Raccoon dogs, things like this too. So what I want to say is that China's responsible as a state for the absolute destruction of mankind. Yeah, like nature.
Nature, absolutely.
When you look at things like, you can use examples like the Yangtze River dolphin too. I think that's a perfect example, because that's something that wasn't even harvested for Chinese medicine or for blubber or something like this. it was killed because man took over nature.
Yeah.
And this is another thing. There's three aspects of this that kill entire species and subspecies in China.
There's something worse about it is that it has a knock-on effect because the rarer an animal is in China, the more valuable it is.
Yeah.
To these, this is an unfortunate thing is that you've got these cuckoo crazy people that have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, and they have this very strong belief in traditional Chinese medicine, and the more rich they are, the more lavish their lifestyles become, and they honestly believe that eating tiger meat is going to make them more powerful and better at business and stuff like that. And this is I'm not making this crap up.
No.
They often catch businessmen who have ordered tiger meat, often not that often, but it's happened. Okay,
Sure.
But they catch them because it is illegal to eat this stuff in China, right? But it doesn't mean the demand's not there. Okay, so what happens is the rarer an animal becomes, more expensive and more sought after it becomes. So it gets to a point where they actually want to decimate the population because that means they can sell it for even more.
Yeah, the sellers can look at it kind of like a rare forbidden fruit situation. If there's much less and they can charge, because think about it, a person that's going to eat yetan, what would you say?
Which is like wild food.
Wild food, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you go to Burma, across the border from China, and you go to King's Casino, right?
Yeah.
Go in there, you get your slaves, you get your, you get your drugs right out in the open. You watch people get tortured. You do crazy
Whatever
shit,
nonsense
right?
you do.
Then you get hungry, you go eat your yatsan, your wild food. They got tiger on the menu. They got donkey penises. They got whatever, right?
Yeah. I feel like donkey penises is not that exotic.
I'm using it as an example because it's here today.
Yeah.
Right. We actually have some coming in.
Yeah, we've got 7,000 in bags.
We're saving them here.
They're pretty large, so you got to understand how huge that shipment is. 7,000.
People don't know because you took the picture away.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about something the length of your arm, right?
Right. Yeah.
7,000 of your arms.
7,000 arms.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point is, if you're that guy going across the border to do that, you're already massively rich, right?
Yeah.
When you can charge market value because something's been decimated even more. Let's say you go to eat a bear paw.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sitting down at this casino. I'm about to eat a bear paw. Previously, it cost $10,000, right? Mm-hmm. You might think, oh, if I charge $50,000, no one's going to buy it. No. You're actually going to get more people to buy it because the kind of people that are lining up to purchase those kind of things want to spend more money because it's more rare.
That's right. So the rarer it is, the more expensive it is, and the more demand there is for it. So it's an unfortunate situation. Nobody's going out to I don't know, find a woodchuck tail or something because they're everywhere, right?
Sure.
Or a hamster tail or something.
Well, they are here at least.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. But it's because it's something that's rare and it becomes a commodity. So it's an unfortunate thing. It's a terrible thing, and the enforcement in China isn't very good.
Yes.
When it comes to stopping this kind of trade. Right. And that's why we have this horrible issue in Africa, for instance, with all the rhinos and elephants and so on being poached and all that, and the pangolins. It's because there's this massive demand. If only there was a way to shut off that demand. But obviously there's not.
No.
But just letting you guys know, that's why Nigeria found a shipment of 7,000 donkey penises in bags being shipped to China.
That bags of donkey dicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Shipping them to China.
That's right.
They're on way from Lagos to Hong Kong, actually, but they would have entered mainland China.
They always ship into Hong Kong first.
Yeah, the port.
Hong Kong's been...
Wait, what port should they have used?
Oh, yes, they should have used the... where is it?
Port of Dandong.
They should have used the port of Dandong.
Something's going on with our thing, by the way. There's some weird video glitch, just if you guys notice anything.
Okay, hopefully it's nothing bad.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be. I was messing with some settings earlier.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, I know in Hong Kong they have been in the past pretty good at finding like hidden ivory and stuff in containers and stuff. They're pretty good, but it's mainland China that's not really helping stop that demand.
Yes. I will say I'm going to predict that Hong Kong is going to get much less good at finding that stuff soon.
Oh yeah. I think probably already
being
is.
under mainland control.
Probably already is.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to somebody doing something very silly. Probably wondering what our thumbnail's all about, right? So, can you set this up? What is this young man doing?
Well, so first you're going to see a clip of a young man doing something he shouldn't do, and that's eating an Asian giant hornet. And then you're going to see a clip of how to do it properly.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so let's take a quick look. We're going to get ourselves out of here. Let's watch.
Cảm ơn anh Tiến đó.
Gone. That's predictable. I mean,
so with Asian giant hornets,
yeah.
I have a secret
What's that?
that we know very well.
Mm-hmm.
This poor lad didn't understand that you gotta cook it first.
Yeah.
He ate it live.
Yeah.
That's huge. You really don't want to eat this.
Yeah. Thought we'd just throw that in there.
Well, you didn't finish the clip.
Oh, I didn't?
No.
Oh, well, here we go.
It bursts like a pustule. Like you're popping a zit in the mirror.
Yeah.
To get this out here. Anyway, what I want to say is this poor lad, if he knew the secret that we discovered, was that you have to cook them first, because we cooked and ate giant hornets, by the way.
Yeah.
A whole plate of them.
Yeah, well, we didn't cook them. We had them.
You understand? We had them cooked.
We didn't like, hey, here's some hornets.
Okay. All right.
You know, I was
Semantics.
actually stung by one of those
Yeah, you were.
in my leg.
And you're allergic to bee stings. Thank God it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the
toxin.
same
No.
venom or whatever it
Yeah.
is. I was incredibly lucky as well. I think it was because I was traveling very fast on a motorcycle. So it hit my leg and stung me like in an instant, but it was such a quick sting.
Yeah, it didn't
And it like
shoot it all
got
in.
pulled right off. I think it didn't get enough venom inside.
You would have been.
It was
F.
incredibly painful, like a massive electric shock and being stabbed at the same time.
Do you remember? That reminds me. Do you remember? We had just done about 10,000 kilometers.
Yeah, I remember.
And we were literally at the end, at the most northern point of China, in Mohe,
Yeah.
on the border with Russia, going to a monument to send off our entire trip to say we finally did it. We were knackered. We wanted to die. We're finally at the end here.
Sure.
It was a beautiful stretch of road.
Yeah.
And a whole swarm of hornets.
Yeah.
Not Asian giant hornets.
Not
normal
eight
ones, like
normal
wasps,
ones. Yeah,
wasps.
like wasps. Yeah.
Flew into my motorcycle jacket and
Yeah.
stung me about 7 times while riding at full speed.
I remember.
Right at the end.
It was very entertaining. It was incredibly entertaining. You know? Yeah. I remember you stopped and you like try to like pat them and like get them out of there.
I ripped everything off.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't eat an Asian giant hornet, okay,
Live.
unless it's cooked.
Yes.
And also don't eat it anyway, even if it's cooked, because it's
Not
a
good.
very...
You know what's worse is the larva.
Yeah, of course.
The hornets were like whatever. They taste like crunchy fried crap.
Yeah.
But the larva
Yeah,
pop,
those are terrible.
pop with
Yeah.
like garbage juice in your mouth.
If you guys haven't seen Conquering Southern China, it's our first television documentary we ever made.
Yep.
And you can watch it on Vimeo. It's great
Vimeo
fun.
on demand Vimeo.com/on-demand/Conquering Southern China.
There we go. Yeah. Anyway, let's get on with the show. We have a new bunch of Chinese or foreigners that are doing Chinese propaganda.
Caught a new campaign.
There's a new campaign. It's called, what is it? The
Bridges to... Sorry, let me pull it up.
Yeah, bring it up. Anyway, they're running around Guangdong at the moment.
Bridges Discovery Tour.
Yeah, the Bridges Discovery
And
Tour.
it's put on by Guangdong Today, GD Today.
Yeah.
And we caught them frickin' lying again
Yeah.
about who they are. But, well, you can introduce who's doing it.
So, what's going on is it's once again the usual sort of Chinese propaganda fluff pieces about look how great the high-speed rails are, look how great the subway stations are, look at all the infrastructure that's being built, look how amazing China is, come back to China now because it's great. And we've got communist leprechauns and we've got beer pats and things like that.
Beer pats.
And what they're doing is they're being followed around, it's pretty much over now, being followed around by film crews.
Yeah.
And they set up these scenarios where they like walk onto the train.
And pretend like,
And pretend like, oh, look how great this is.
like
Meanwhile,
8
there's like
cameramen.
8 cameramen all around them, following them around and all this nonsense. And they seem to have actually kind of run out of foreigners. you know.
There's almost none left, so it's
Yeah.
kind of the dregs.
Yeah, they have to deal with who they have to deal with.
Yeah.
Anyway, there is a big push now, and we mentioned it last time. For what's that?
Someone says whoever that guy is looks like he violates animals.
Yeah, probably.
Hopefully not donkeys.
Yeah,
They've had
yeah,
enough.
yeah. Anyway, that is something from his hometown. That happened. Anyway, whatever. Let's move on. let's move on. Strange how donkeys have been covered in this episode a couple of times. Yeah, the fact of the matter is, okay, they're trying to paint a story that China has healed itself. China's better now, okay? I know people in Shanghai that have been coerced into making videos for their schools, usually, where they're basically saying how great Shanghai is again and how amazing it is and how, you know, COVID was beat and it's great. Come back, you know. All foreigners come back. It's so amazing.
Tofu drag foreigners.
yes. So they're pushing this whole narrative to try and attract people back.
Yeah.
And they're starting again with all of these so-called tourism things. But you have to understand that tourism is not an option right now. To go to China on tourism, you can't really do that. If I wanted to go to China, right? Well, we couldn't. But let's say I'm a normal person, and I want to go to China tomorrow. Okay, got to book my ticket, right? First of all, the plane ticket is ridiculously expensive. It's like $22,000 or something.
Should I pull one up?
Yeah, pull one up.
While you talk.
So I have to book a plane ticket. Okay. I get my economy flight, which costs more than what a first class ticket would have usually cost back in the day.
Okay, nearby airports, Philadelphia to Beijing.
Yeah, let's go to Philadelphia to Beijing. Let's see what it is. What about Guangzhou?
Okay,
let's go to Guangzhou. That's where we'd want to go, right?
No, I don't want to go anywhere.
Well, I'm saying
get murdered.
Yeah, let's just I'm a normal person. What do we got?
Just talk. Well,
okay,
it'll take a while.
We'll see. The flights are just prohibitively expensive, first of all, to fly there. Once you arrive in China, you then have to quarantine, and the amount of time you have to quarantine keeps changing, but I believe right now it's at least 7 days minimum.
Sure.
You also, what do we got? Prices. Yeah.
Because you don't want a 48-hour flight.
Yeah, let's not do a 48-hour.
Oh, there is no non-stop.
Okay.
Okay, so one stop. So a 24-hour flight.
Yeah.
Wow, that's long. It's $20,000.
$20,000 US.
Wow.
Why not buy a new car?
Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah. So, I mean, this whole idea, because they're pushing hard. They're pushing hard for this. Again, look at how great Guangdong is and all this stuff. Look at how things are getting better. Fly back. Come on back. Oh, look, let's do
if you want like a 3-day flight,
3
days, like in transit, multiple cross, like, what's it called? Connections?
Yeah.
About $9,000.
About $9,000.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of money lying around.
No.
I don't know about you.
No.
And if I had that kind of money lying around, I'd probably, I don't know.
Probably go to Hawaii, which I did recently.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. I can't wait to go there one day.
And it wasn't $9,000.
No.
It was like a few $100.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was like,
Anyway, so this whole farce that, you know, come back, and you've seen all these officials put out all this tourist stuff, you know? Have you seen that on Twitter and so on? They're all like, look at the mountains here and look at the rivers here and look at the amazing minorities. Why are they doing this?
Because the propaganda department gets money from different departments in the government.
Yeah.
And when they make China look good through different ways, then they get funding.
Yeah.
It's all through the government funding. The government has so much money to spend from the 讲好中国故事 campaign, or the just in general propaganda campaign of making China look good, tell a good China story. And that budget's going on for ages. There's billions put out.
Yeah.
Right. So they come up with these programs and they try to get funding from their own provinces to do this stuff, right? And if you hire foreigners, to them it's more credible, and it's supposed to be you get more money, by the way, if you target a foreign audience for this propaganda. So you get foreigners to target a foreign audience abroad to make China look good. It's not actually about getting people to visit anywhere.
Sure.
But what they can do to scam the locals, they'll show up to some bullshit like AAA, tourist hub where you go cook a chicken under a grass hut.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, this is how it's been for thousands of years, and they just set it up overnight, right? Mm-hmm. Those local people get scammed because they'll be like, oh, this is going to bring in so much tourism, and that's what the propaganda guys will tell them, the locals.
Yes, yeah.
Like, we're going to bring these foreigners in here, all these foreigners are going to fly in. Those, like, 80-year-old farmers in this area that just set up the grass hut to cook chicken don't understand the visa policies of
they don't
zero
understand.
COVID,
They don't.
Right? So they don't understand that all this is just bullshit, right?
A big part of this as well, and we've got a point to all this, by the way. We're not just putting this out there to say, oh, look, foreigners doing dirty work for the CCP. There's a point to all of this. But they set these things up, and they put these things out on Twitter and so on to deflect away when they're also making mistakes. Because, like, some of them have crossed the line a little bit with the whole Taiwan blustering thing. Some of them have been being very, very undiplomatic.
Just
vicious. Screaming vicious crap about the USA, posting all these distasteful cartoons.
Gross, violent stuff, too.
All this nonsense they've been posting. And then when they get told to dial it back a bit, because obviously they have someone who's like, hey, listen, maybe you're crossing the line. Then they're like, look at this beautiful scenery of this area. Like, come to China. It's so welcoming.
It's funny. For example, Communist Leprechaun.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Is that my goal?
What the hell are you?
I'm a leprechaun, me dear. Here.
He's actually one we've watched rise through the ranks. So what happens is someone like this gets shafted the whole time. He watches his brethren in China, the other foreigners, get all these state jobs, or they get to go to Beijing and say, look at this amazing culture, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't get these gigs, right?
No, so he's not up to the task.
He's trying to suck the G out of the CCP, but he's not even given an opportunity.
No.
CCP shuts him down, takes away his business, all this kind of stuff. So eventually what they'll use him for is the really vicious roles. Why did Bachelet say that, the Uyghurs are, it's not actually a genocide? And he does really vicious stuff that most people don't want to touch, right? The average shill is going to want to go be like, I love stinky tofu, He's going to be like, the UN are nothing but scum suckers of the US,
That's what leprechauns do. I mean, also, at the same time, it's because when everybody else is left and they don't have a choice,
that's what I was saying.
They have to choose who's left.
So you get people that need to fill the more vicious roles because they're willing to do anything.
Right.
Basically be a prostitute.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
State prostitute for propaganda.
Correct.
Let's not beat around the bush
Sure.
here.
No,
That's
absolutely.
kind of what you do when you sell yourself to things that you might not even believe in.
Yeah.
And also because the lack of people to choose from. Like you said, when the shills leave, a lot of shills left, right?
Yeah.
You got the kind of 50, 60, 7-year-old overweight, dudes that stayed around too long in China.
Yeah.
That beer pats.
Beer pats.
That's all you got left.
Yeah, that's all you got.
And a lot of them, weirdly enough, live in Guangdong. So they use them for this. Now, what in our
Now here's the point.
Yeah.
We're going to get to the point now, guys. We're not just sitting here ragging on about rubbish foreigners.
No.
Guangdong Today, this is the outfit that has this branch of the Chinese government that set up this current bridges. What is it? Tour of bridges?
Bridges. Gosh darn it.
What is it called again? It's they always have some name.
Guangdong Today Bridges Discovery Tour.
Bridges Discovery Tour, okay, which they've currently set up.
Which is getting 10 views.
No, I know, but that's how it is. But it's not. That's not the reason. We wanted to show you their website, their Facebook page, sorry, and how many followers do we have?
Guangdong Today,
yes,
which is a very, very small, tiny little news network in China, but is state-run by Xinhua. Right?
Yes,
has 1.65 million likes and 1.66 million followers, which is outlandish.
But you know what? It's rated 5 stars.
Oh, by how many?
10
reviews.
Yeah, 10 reviews.
Out of 1.66 million people, 10 people reviewed it.
Yes.
What does that tell you?
It tells you that it's bullshit.
It's all fake.
This is what the Chinese government does. If you go to a Facebook page like this from the Chinese government, okay, first of all, it's not labeled as Chinese government Facebook. What are you doing? It's literally Guangdong Today, okay? It's literally News Guangdong at Sina.com, News Media Agency, NewsGD.com. This is a Chinese outlet, state outlet, media outlet. Put your label on it, please.
But why did they not put a label on it?
Yeah, I don't know.
It has 1.6 million followers. It's run by the Chinese state government.
It has 10 followers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you're gonna allow those numbers, if Facebook's gonna say, you know what, we did a deep dive here.
Yeah.
Sure, certainly a flagging or some people looking at this, right? 1.6 million followers that came from probably the same IP address or bot farm, right?
Yeah.
There's no interaction on here, and it owns up to being a state-run enterprise on its own media.
Yeah.
Why? Where's the state label, guys?
Yeah, where is it? I mean, look, here's the thing, guys. This is what China does. It's all about face.
Yeah.
So they will say, oh, look, we've got the lowest COVID infection numbers in the world.
Yeah.
And they just say that.
Oh, we have the highest life expectancy.
Yeah, they just say, oh, look at our GDP numbers of this. They just say that. None of it is actually true. It can all be proven false.
These
how it
accounts
works.
are great examples, aren't they?
This is what the Chinese government does. This is a Chinese government organization, and they know that foreigners, if they see that the page has got a lot of followers, they'll take it more seriously. So what do? They invent the followers. They make them fake. They generate these followers. Those are not real followers. There are not 1.66854 people that actually follow this page. Those are all bots. They're all paid for. They're all nonsense. It has 10. And you did look at some of the posts, right? Okay. So we thought, here is a Chinese government Facebook page.
Okay, can I give people examples so they know like what to look out for here, right?
All right.
Our average episode of this show is about 150,000 views.
Okay.
Let's just go down. Let's make it super easy to say 100,000 views. Right?
Yeah.
100,000 views, right? No, we have 150,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
That's about like 75% of people. Actually, to make it easy, we do average 150,000 views, and we have 150,000 subscribers. That means 100% of our subscriber base watches each episode, usually on average, right?
Plus minus.
Here you have 1.66 million, so we're talking 10 times our audience size. 10 times, right? And they have 79 people interact with their post.
And this is a week ago. This is like September the 1st. So we went to September the 1st post, which is, as we all know, today is like the September the 9th. So it's 9 days ago. And they had 79 likes and 2 shares on that post.
2 shares with 1.66 million
and
followers.
You know how this works, right? With a Facebook page, because we run some Facebook pages. When you make that post, it gets sent out to all those 1.66 whatever million. It comes up in their feed. All right? So you would expect at least maybe 5% at the very minimum people to interact with the post. Be like, oh, that's interesting, or I like it. That 79 is much less than 5% of 1.66 whatever million people.
It's 0.00000 goes on and on.
Sure. Pi. Infinity.
It's less than pi infinity.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You know what's even worse? I should have included one of these, but when they have the videos, you can actually see views. So this is shares. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Oh, this is interactions, right? 2 shares, right?
Yeah.
Maybe nobody wants to share it, right?
Yeah.
When they have ones with the views, talking some of these sub-100 views for 1.66 million people.
Yeah.
How, Facebook, have you not neutered this? This is wrong. It's breaking your terms of service.
Yes.
It's completely fake.
It's fabricated and fake.
And it doesn't have a state label.
Yeah. Anybody with any common sense could look at the numbers and immediately discern that it's fake.
Yeah.
Okay? That all these followers are bots paid for fakeness.
And I just hope people can walk away from this thinking this is not just social media. Mm-hmm. This is how China operates.
Yes.
Everything is a massage number to the point of ridiculousness.
Yeah.
It's crazy how wrong and fake it is.
Yeah. All you need to do is the Chinese government needs to know what you think is good, and then they will just put that out for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if you say, I think that solar energy is good, they'll say, look, we have the largest amount of solar, energy per capita or per square inch or whatever, and they'll put it out there, but it's not true.
Yes.
They just come up with this stuff, right? And then if you ever try to dig deep into it, or if you actually question it, they're like, you're racist, or you're just a terrible person, or you're trying to smear China or something. They always come back with that nonsense rather than being honest about things.
Yeah. What I can say is that we can expect the Chinese government to be a piece of shit liar.
Yeah.
But social media companies in the West, please hurry up and get rid of this. Tomorrow I want to see this dealt with. You have teams of so many people that are allowing this to proliferate.
Yes.
And that's fake and not real.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
So deal with it.
Anyone who's got any contacts with Facebook or knows anyone with Facebook, please do something about this kind of thing. Please take a look at all of these Chinese government linked pages like this that have millions of followers or million plus.
And the sycophants and the state media accounts that act like normal people and they work for CGTN.
Yes.
Look at them and deal with them.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to suffer this idiocy, right? We shouldn't have to, it's insulting.
It is.
To deal with this, And the problem is, like all the shills going on these tours, they're like, oh, look at this big organization.
See, it's a huge cyclical thing, right?
Yeah. And they can use it to justify doing these things.
Why do you think China gets so much investment in stuff? It's because it's made up.
Yeah, because they can say, look at all the high percentage of returns you'll get. It's just made up. Yeah, just like this page. Anyway, what are we doing with our friend here, the water cooler man?
Wang Wenbin, typical wolf warrior from China's, Foreign Ministry Affairs.
Yep.
So last episode, if you guys were here, somebody said something that made me laugh for like 10 minutes straight and I couldn't come back. Right. And they said that he sounded like a water cooler.
Right.
And even though that didn't make any sense, everyone loved it.
It does make sense because you've heard a water cooler empty, like
Glug-glugs,
you know, it's got that sound.
Yeah. So people made some fan art. This is the Angerworm versus Mech Wong.
Yeah.
So the Angerworm would be a warmonger, so probably the U.S.
Yeah.
Mech Wong would be Wang Wenbin
Yes.
in his water cooler form.
Yes.
Which is fantastic.
I really love that. It is a water cooler fighting.
A bubble diplomat.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
This is great. Moisture Wong, the water cooler Democrat. I think they meant diplomat. Yeah, Moist Talk had me laughing so hard. Here's a sticker. I hope you like it, and they could be of some use. I hope people make stickers out of this.
Yeah,
They
that's
actually
really funny.
included like the sticker version.
I like how it says water cooler diplomacy on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moisture Wong on the front.
He's leaking all over. The water boy.
Yes.
So-called water.
The so-called water boy. Yes. This is great. This is what we love. By the way, guys, this is our favorite.
I love this one. The water cooler diplomacy.
And this was actually done before the end of the episode.
It was done during the episode. Yeah.
Fantastic artist.
Amazing.
Seriously. Yeah.
There's a couple more.
We have our subreddits, reddit.com/ADVChina, and that's
/r/ADVChina,
and that's where you find this stuff. And if you want to contribute, go for it. Has this got sound?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try.
是服务美西方以疆制华战略的政治工具。
Somebody interviewed the water cooler.
I want to play that again.
That one had me going.
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious.
Whoever made this is.
So he has a microphone. He's holding a microphone up
he's
to the water
interviewing.
cooler. Let's see. What does the water cooler have to say?
是服务美西方以疆制华战略的政治工具。
It's really good. Yeah.
Whoever made that's a legend.
Someone made Clam Man.
An Mega Man version.
Yeah.
What is he saying?
Saying. Oh no, he's saying. Sorry, no, he's saying.
好吃，好好吃。
好吃，好好吃. Yep. Okay, what have we got next? We've got. Take a look at this. Remember?
Yes.
We were making
how
a
could
thing.
I forget?
We were making a thing about Minions. Well, yeah. Come and take it.
This is Minions.
Mm-hmm. You know, I got to be honest with you. Looking at this, I wonder if those come and take it guys would put this on their lifted trucks.
I'm gonna go out there and say someone may have not even made this, and it's already a thing. That could potentially be a thing.
It could. Either way, it's kind of funny. What's next? What is this?
Someone threatened me with violence if I didn't put this on here. One of our subredditors.
Oh, it's Chairman Mao.
Chairman Mao.
I get it.
It's actually an art installation. It makes me super uncomfortable.
Because it's Mao and he's a chairman, a man chair.
Look at it.
Yeah, it's
just
pretty.
Look at the detail.
It's pretty accurate.
Gross though.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's pretty
sit
accurate.
on that. I'll absorb you.
No, I wouldn't sit on that.
Suck you right into his gullet with all that pork.
Yeah, it's terrible. Excellent. So I guess we've covered what's new. Let's have a couple of super chats and we'll hit into our main topic, which is Soft Power Hour, of course.
Dave LePan says, I know I make a lot of recommendations, but figuring out early premiere with open comments and live chat will seriously boost your ratings. Oh, so you have to do how do you do a premiere with a live stream? That's what I don't understand.
I don't know either. Let's look into it, though.
David, please send me detailed instructions on how to do that. Will Smith, thank you very much. Giovanni, thank you very much. Anthony Saint says, hey guys, let's have a great show.
Let's do it.
Let's hear a cotton.
Oh, you want a cotton as well? Oh, I guess you're going to have to. Where is cotton? Is it this one?
Yeah. Doc Slothington. Old Doc here. These whippersnappers in the chat are rowdy tonight. Here's to a good show. Thanks. I think we got off to a good start, guys.
Okay, so we're going to hit soft power, guys. This is where we talk about how China's trying to change your mind through soft power. And quite honestly, I think one of the biggest things we can talk about right now is how China has tried to change everyone's mind about how they're dealing with the whole COVID situation.
Yeah.
All right. So what have we got over here?
Can I preface this by saying this is not going to be about COVID? Do not turn off. I know people are tired of it. This is about the absolute insanity that's going on right now.
Yeah.
In China, and some of it's related.
True.
So basically, a bunch of places went into lockdown.
Yes.
Right? And lockdown in China means the zero COVID policy. You can't leave. They'll tell you when you can go get a ticket for one family member to go out and buy stuff. They try to keep it all under control, but devolves into chaos pretty much every single time.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll get notices for this kind of stuff way too late.
Yeah,
and
like
they
a
can't
day,
do anything.
Like a couple of hours before.
Right. So in this situation, you have people that are not allowed to enter certain buildings because, by the way, the earthquake happened in Sichuan.
Yeah.
Right.
It's tragic. By the way, tragic earthquake happened in Sichuan. 6.8 on the Richter scale.
Yes.
And one of the awful things that happened, I'll just explain this to you, to show you how ridiculous the zero COVID policy is there were people under lockdown.
Yes.
In Sichuan, and their buildings were locked down. And when they lock down the buildings, they lock the gates.
Yes.
They lock the fire escapes, because if they didn't do that, people would leave.
Yeah.
Okay? So now you have an earthquake, and people are locked in their buildings and cannot escape. They cannot get out. There's footage of people trying to get out of the fire escapes, but they're locked.
Correct.
And now, anyone who's safety conscious, anyone who knows anything about safety in general knows that you don't lock fire escapes.
No.
They're there for a reason.
Right.
But this stupid zero COVID policy has now put people's lives in danger, and has of course resulted in the deaths of who knows how many people. Because hey, if there's a fire, we saw what happened. There were fires, and the firemen couldn't even get into the places because they were locked down, and the people couldn't get out. Now you have an earthquake, people locked in their buildings. You know what's going to happen.
For sure. Can
It's
you put
awful.
put the notice back up?
Okay, let's
Oh, you
put the
didn't
notice.
even tell them what it's about.
Yeah.
So this notice basically says that if you are coming in as a rescue, like an emergency worker, to this area where the earthquake was, you have to have a negative COVID test for 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
Before you get in there. So people are dying.
Yeah.
People are trapped. They need firefighters like crazy.
Yeah, and they need volunteers.
Rescue workers,
they need
EMTs.
Yeah.
And they are not letting them in because of zero COVID policy.
I saw footage. Did you include that in this, by the way? I have
so much.
Do you have the footage of them lining up, taking
to the
it?
next slide.
Okay, all right, good. You know, there's a bit of miscommunication. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. So here you are, you're a rescue worker. You're arriving on the scene because of this terrible, awful earthquake. And instead of being able to go and help people, you have to line up and take a freaking COVID test. Isn't that ridiculous?
You know what the worst part about this was?
What?
And I think this is what you guys come here for, not necessarily to see this footage, to understand it, okay? That clip there was not being shared to say, look at how crazy this is. Look at how wild this is. It was shown
Like
as
in a
positive
patriotic
thing.
way.
Like, oh, look at all the rescue workers coming here lining
Yeah.
up for their COVID test, but while the people die and suffer inside, by the way.
Yeah.
It was with like some hopeful music and stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't shared to say, holy shit, look at what they've done to us.
Yeah, it shows you the level of absurdity, right?
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, the Chinese government kind of tricked the world into thinking that this is the way to do things.
Yes.
A lot of people were pointing to China, rightly so, because they've been fed a bunch of bullshit. Like China is going, look, 1 million deaths in America. We only had like 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Meanwhile, countless people died of COVID in the beginning stages of COVID in China. We'll never know.
No.
Those crematoriums running 24 hours a day. Tons of people died.
Yeah.
But they were just like, nope, that's not COVID. They just died of natural causes or whatever. And then they're like, whoa, look, America's so bad, 1 million. Look, we've got 3. And everyone's like, wow, China must be doing something right.
Right.
The people who believe their 1.66 million followers on Guangdong Today or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
That's the kind of person who's like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And it was used as kind of a model for a lot of places.
Yeah.
Okay, and we saw the UK and Australia and
my
various
gosh.
places like that starting to kind of go down the route of what
Yeah.
China did.
Yeah.
And China loved that.
Yeah.
Then,
They're like,
especially
"We
the
set
Chinese
the
government's like, look, everyone's following us. We're number one. We're the leader.
Yeah.
And so when it came to the point where everyone's like, you know what, this is not working out, Xi Jinping especially is like, nope, we're going to stick to this because it
Double
worked.
down.
It worked for us up until now. It's going to keep working. So we're just going to really double down. And it leads to absurdity like this.
Yeah.
In an emergency situation where you need people to go and pull, victims out of the rubble and whatever, they're like, no, not until you've had your COVID test.
No.
Not until you've lined up and taken your PCR test and we have to wait 24 hours or whatever and get it back, and then we'll send you into the field. Because, who knows? You might give COVID to that person who's trapped under the rubble when you're rescuing them. I mean, what is the logic?
My arm's pinched off and my artery is preventing blood flow. Like, I'm actually going to die.
Yeah.
But please don't give me COVID.
Isn't it dumb?
Yeah.
I mean, I could say a lot of swear words. I don't like to swear a lot. It slips out occasionally. We all do.
We do.
You know.
When me and you are together, we
Yeah, we
slip.
had a couple drinks. You'll hear some nastiness.
We didn't have a couple drinks, by the way. You make it sound like we just
I said, but... So I'm keeping it as civil as I can, but this kind of thing infuriates me because I know the people that are suffering, you know, the actual people of China are suffering this absolute nonsense, and it's almost more maddening that they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if they try to do anything about it, they just get punished.
Yeah.
You got such a stupid leadership, an inept, ridiculous leadership that ends in this. People being locked in their buildings during an earthquake, and then rescue workers having to line up to take a bloody COVID test to go and rescue them. It's dumb.
Yeah.
And you can replace dumb with a much stupider, worse word, you know?
Regarded.
Yes.
It's regarded as dumb.
It's regarded as...
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that just reminded me of something really funny. You know, in South Africa...
What?
We used to have this... My parents had this business, right? So they build water features and dams. And there was this Afrikaans business.
Yeah.
Okay? That used to provide rocks.
Fascinating.
Yeah, they'd go into the mountains and get rocks that look nice in water features and stuff, right? And they'd load up a truck and
I get it.
But the guy who ran it, his surname was Versaghi, so it's Mr. Versaghi, right?
Dutch guy. I always have to tell everyone, Afrikaans are Dutch people, Dutch settlers.
Well, yeah, they're like the descendants, so they got their own language and culture and stuff. It's different. They grow up different to the way we grow up, right?
Yeah.
The English-speaking guys and all the Zulu-speaking, whatever. You know, you got so many different types. So anyway, Versaghi also used to be a kind of a part-time mechanic, shade tree mechanic. So he would also like help fix some of the work vehicles, you know, like the buckies, or we call them buckies. It's a pickup truck, right? And I remember his English was interesting. Not bad, because, you know, like English is always a second language to the Afrikaans people. But he always mixed up according. So but he'd use it a lot. Nobody ever corrected him. So what he'd do is he'd come in and he spoke to like the dealership, or he spoke to like the parts place, and he'd say, according to them, we need this part. You know, and everyone's like, but didn't say anything. And this went on for years. So he liked to use that word a lot because he thought it made him sound posh. So he'd always come in and like, according to this, you know, person, that one did that, you know, that kind of thing. So it was just hilarious.
Kind of reminds me of someone who's also Dutch that would say that things are delicious wrong in Chinese.
Oh, you mean like this?
好吃，好吃。
Yeah, but he's proper Dutch. He's not, you know, South African Afrikaans. Yeah. Anyway, that just reminded me of that for some reason. Let's get back to our show. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah. It's according to the report, you know.
Yes. He wasn't regarded.
No.
He wasn't regarded as a dumb person.
No. He's a fantastically funny bloke, actually. So what's going on here? Guess what?
The panic has started in Chengdu.
The bad planning.
A big one was in Zhejiang province. What is that city called?
Which one?
Not Yushi. What is the Wuxi?
Yeah, Wuxi. Yeah, Wuxi. Yeah. Guys, seriously, this is what happens. The government suddenly sends out a text message to your phone through, you know, the system or through WeChat or something, and it says, "Guess what, guys? You're locked down from tomorrow or from like midnight."
Yeah. Last minute.
What's gonna happen? Well, everybody's gonna go and they're gonna go strip the shelves bare. Okay, it's very bad planning. You got people standing on the shelves here at the markets. To
be fair, they know what happens if they don't get anything.
Yeah, I mean,
the government stipend vegetables and food that they hand out. A huge chunk of people got nothing.
Yeah,
people starved to death.
No, they did, and you'll find out that right now there is a big problem with that.
Yeah, worst already.
Yeah, but you know, here's the thing: you get this like grab hag thing going on here, which you sometimes get anyway in normal circumstances.
Oh, sure.
But you know, we're talking about this very poorly planned situation where it's like last minute they say, oh, you know, we're going to go into lockdown.
Yeah.
If they knew what they were doing, they would do it properly. It'd be orderly. They'd like let little segments go, and it'd be. But nope, it's just like, oh, go deal with yourself.
Hear me out. You could just not do this.
Yeah, you could not do this stupid
everyone else has moved on.
And of course, they've got the drones. There's no audio here. There's supposed to be.
Put audio in there.
Not on this one, you didn't.
I did though, specifically, and I listened to it ahead of time.
No, the other audio worked.
Weird. I put audio on this.
Anyway, there is supposed to be audio of the drone basically saying you're
shouting at people.
Shouting at people, stay in your homes and all that kind of stuff, right?
Classic.
Yeah, people trying to break out because they're now locked in. Look.
We had more welding, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's not fair. If you think about it for a second now, okay? Wherever you live right now, look, there's bicycle locks on the doors now, locking people in. Just imagine for a second you're told, hey, you're not allowed to leave your house. Okay?
Just like tomorrow.
By the way, what you're seeing here behind us is what I was talking about earlier. This is people that have just suffered the earthquake trying to leave their building. They're trying to evacuate. The earthquake's just struck.
Big one, 6.8.
Yeah, they've all rushed down. This is footage from that. They've all rushed downstairs. They're trying to get out, and it's locked, and they cannot escape. Right?
Yeah.
They're there with their families. They're all trying to get out. You cannot escape because of the stupid government policy. And again, people are suffering for what? For no reason. Because it's all half-assed and chabador anyway.
Yeah.
Take a look at what this woman's doing. I'll take us out of there. See, there's audio.
Yeah, I put audio.
What's she doing?
She is doing fake COVID tests.
Yep.
Because they have to hit quotas. Mm-hmm. So she's opening the COVID tests, swiping on something, and then putting it in the solution to say it's done.
Yeah.
That is one of the most apt analogies for quite literally how everything works in China. And I don't know how many times we have to tell people that it's not just about COVID, it's not just about Facebook likes, it's not just about GDP numbers, it's everything that relies on quotas, which is everything in the Chinese government.
Yeah.
It's always fake. And I'm not over-exaggerating.
No, it is. It's and corruption is endemic. It's all part of the way the Chinese government works. And there's a certain amount of tolerance for it, and everyone in China understands that's how it works. But the problem is that the outside world, people like you and us, the way we're brought up, the societies we're brought up in, we don't expect that from a government, especially not like at a diplomatic level or something.
Yeah.
We do not expect to be lied to constantly. We do not expect all these fabricated numbers and bold-faced lies all the time.
Yes.
And so a lot of people fall for it because you don't expect it, right? Imagine you grew up in Europe and you're just like, oh, you're just some Northern European dude grew up there and stuff, and you're used to the rules and you pay your tax and you do all your stuff the way you're supposed to do. And then you meet a Chinese diplomat and they tell you, oh, look, the sun's always shining in China, there's no pollution. You expect that to be true.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Well, you take people at face value.
Yeah. And people have to start to learn that you cannot take the Chinese government at face value. In fact, what they say is always going to be false.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be some things that aren't false, sure, but only if it works in their favor.
If it relies on numbers and quotas, it's always fake. I'm not saying it's 100% fake, there's always fake elements to it.
Yeah, correct. Anyway, here we can see how people are being, delivered their little food parcels of, get them, like vegetables and stuff. Have to lower down ropes and things and work in a weird system of, pulleys and all that kind of nonsense. I mean, again, it just shows the level of absurdity that's going on here. The lack of planning, the inability of the government to actually manage this properly, Yeah. And here we have people actually creating ropes. They're using, you can see one over there, like they're using network cables, Cat5 cabling and stuff. Just all these different ways and means to get food from the outside world.
Yeah.
And more of this. We saw this in Shanghai. Yeah. We're seeing this now all over. Chengdu's in lockdown right now.
Yeah.
And that's a huge amount of people. How many people there?
Probably 8 million, is it?
I feel like it's more than that.
16 million.
Yeah, there we go. Double. Yeah, 16 million people.
Grown.
Yeah, it's grown a lot by double.
Yeah.
Huge amount of people in lockdown right now, so we're seeing repeats of what we saw in Shanghai. People screaming from their windows, usual kind of thing. And again, we get numb to this because we see it's happening all the time. Okay?
Yeah.
And you're like, another lockdown in China. Just another lockdown. But you know what? It's a bloody human tragedy that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's a modern day tragedy.
and you become numb to it, but you shouldn't. This should not be happening.
No.
You know?
That's the problem, is that I know, I had to preface this with, like, people don't care about the COVID thing anymore because the rest of the world's gotten over it, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is China's still suffering through it, and it's completely unnecessary. 93, 94, or whatever.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Right, anyway, let's get on with the show. You have another question?
No, let's
we'll just get into it. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, on Monday we have a kind of a private VIP patron-only show. Don't worry, we don't paywall anything really important. It's more of a fun get-together. We do have topics. We discuss things. I thought we'd give you a little taste of